till automatic launch sequence have been completed satisfactorily. Based on the clearance obtained from launch vehicle, spacecraft, range, and distract network stations, and prevailing favorable weather conditions, Mission Director hereby authorizes to initiate launch operation sequence for the launch of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission at 11:50 hours IST today, that is 2nd September 2023.
All stations to note, Mission Director has given authorization for the launch of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission.
SDS servers activated. MC
अभी
confirms
आपने
data
देखा
from SHAR-1 and
इस मिशन
SHAR-2.
के मिशन डायरेक्टर श्री
T-minus
एस आर
15
बीजू ने
minutes and
इस
counting.
मिशन का
Hereby authorizes to initiate automatic launch sequence for the launch of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission.
Automatic launch sequence initiated for PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission.
The automatic launch sequence, the initiation has been announced, and hereafter a very critical capsule of performance validation for the launch vehicle systems will be carried out, and very close to the launch time, control will be passed on to the onboard computers.
जी हाँ, ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस चालू हो चुका है। ALS शुरू होने के पश्चात रॉकेट स्वचालित होकर सर्वप्रथम T-0.3 सेकेंड्स पर RCT का प्रज्वलन शुरू करेगा और T0 पर कोर बूस्टर S139 का प्रज्वलन शुरू होगा। लेकिन इस दौरान वह स्वचालित तरीके से सभी जांच जारी रखे हुए है।
PS2 control system, rudder chain actuation in progress.
On your TV screens, Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh. This mission is the 91st launch mission of ISRO and 59th of Workhorse PSLV. As mentioned earlier, PSLV's XL version with 6 strap-on motors alongside the core S139 motor is being used for the present mission. This is the 25th time PSLV XL is getting ready for launch. So far in the year 2023, ISRO has launched SSLV's maiden successful mission, 2 commercial missions of PSLV, 1 mission of GSLV carrying the first among the second generation of navigation satellites, 1 commercial mission of LVM-3 and another mission of LVM-3 again carrying the prestigious Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft.
PS4 control system actuation in progress.
आदित्य-L1 जो कि एक अंतरिक्षयान है इस मिशन का, इसको पृथ्वी से 235 बाई 19,500 किलोमीटर की निम्न भूकक्षा में 19.2 डिग्री के झुकाव के साथ अंतक्षेपित किया जाएगा। इस कक्षा में निर्धारित आर्ग्यूमेंट ऑफ पेरिजी 346.6 डिग्री को प्राप्त करने के लिए PSLV के चतुर्थ चरण को 2 बार प्रज्वलित कर इसे प्राप्त किया जाएगा। आर्ग्यूमेंट ऑफ पेरिजी असेंडिंग मोड और पेरिजी के बीच के कोण है जिसे कक्षीय तल के साथ मापा जाता है। आदित्य-L1 के इस दीर्घाकार कक्षा में अंतक्षेपण के पश्चात उचित समय पर और उचित अभिवृत्ति में अंतरिक्षयान में लगे लिक्विड एपोजी मोटर्स को फायर कर कक्षांतरण किया जाएगा और इस तरह 5वीं बार में LAM मोटर को फायर कर यान को पृथ्वी की प्रभावी क्षेत्र से बाहर निकलने में समुचित गति प्राप्त की जाएगी। फिर वह पृथ्वी की कक्षा से छोड़कर सूर्य की कक्षा में प्रवेश करेगा और ऐसा करते हुए यह करीब 125 दिनों का समय लगेगा। 125 दिनों बाद यह L1 पॉइंट के पास पहुंचकर और उसकी परिक्रमा करना शुरू कर देगा और यही वह L1 पॉइंट है जहां पर से यह अपने वैज्ञानिक उद्देश्यों का भी प्रतिपादन करेगा। अब हम उड़ान से 11 मिनट की दूरी पर
कंट्रोल सिस्टम एक्टिवेशन इन प्रोग्रेस।
Let me in the meantime tell the viewers about the flight events that the launch of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 will take. This mission is among the longest flights of PSLV. It is going to last for 63 minutes and 19 seconds. The liftoff coincides with the ignition of core S139 solid rocket motor and the ignition of the 4 groundlet strap-ons. While the rocket is at 2.7 kilometers altitude, the 2 airlit strap-ons also commence their operation. The action time of strap-on motors is 70 seconds, and the groundlet and airlit strap-ons are separated from the ongoing launch vehicle at 70 and 92 seconds into the flight, respectively. The core S139 motor continues to thrust till 110 seconds. Since the second stage of PSLV operates on pressure-fed liquid engine, the optimal performance of the engine is ensured if the effect thrust cutoff or separation of the lower stage is countered by additional means of thrust generation. Therefore, the alleged motors provided for this purpose ignite 3 seconds before the first stage separation and continue to thrust for 11 seconds. The second stage, PS2, commences its operation 200 milliseconds after the separation of first stage. By this time, the rocket would have attained 55 kilometers altitude. The closed-loop guidance is initiated, which compares the present state of rocket to the intended injection point to compute an optimal trajectory. This happens while the rocket is at 59.7 kilometers altitude. At 204 seconds into the flight, the payload fairing is separated as the launch vehicle attains 113 kilometers altitude and the dense atmosphere is no longer present around. These events are taking place in the operational regime of the second stage, which lasts for 153 seconds. PS2 is separated 262.4 seconds into the flight at an altitude of 130 kilometers, while the relative velocity is 4.9 kilometers per second. The third stage, PS3, ignites about a second later and burns for 118 seconds, during which time it adds 12 kilometers to the altitude and enhances relative velocity tremendously from 4.9 kilometers per second to 7.3 kilometers per second. There is a coast phase of 200 seconds that follow PS3 burnout, during which there is no thrust being developed, but the rocket continues to be steered. At 581 seconds into the flight, the PS3 separates, and the last in the fourth stage of the rocket, together with the Aditya-L1 spacecraft, coasts for a long time thereafter. Till 1396 seconds into flight, the tracking stations at Shar, Port Blair, Brunei and back will be acquiring the real-time performance data of the flight. But thereafter there is no visibility period of around 1600 seconds or 27 minutes. The fourth stage burns twice. First time for a duration of 30 seconds and second time for a duration of 472 seconds. The first burn takes place in no visibility zone, and the second burn is tracked by a shipborne terminal placed in Pacific Ocean. About 200 seconds after the completion of second burn of PS4, the injection conditions for the separation of Aditya-L1 are expected to be achieved. An altitude of 648.7 kilometers
T-7 minutes
and a relative velocity of 8.9 kilometers per second, which translates into an orbit of 235 by 19,500 kilometers. The injection event of Aditya-L1 will be confirmed by tracking station at Kourou. From the initial placement in low Earth orbit, Aditya-L1 will undergo a series of earthbound orbit raising, and eventually it will exit Earth's sphere of influence to reach Lagrange's point L1 in a journey spanning over 4 months. There it will be placed in a halo orbit around L1. This is how India's first observatory class space-based solar mission will take shape.
Vehicle is in internal battery power.
अब हम उड़ान से 6 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं। ALS जारी है, सभी जांच सुचारू रूप से जारी हैं। इस दौरान यहाँ उपस्थित आप देखिए, यहाँ
External power supplies are withdrawn.
व्यूअर्स गैलरी पे, लॉन्च व्यू गैलरी पे उपस्थित जन आक्रोश। इनका रोमांच देखते ही बनता है। इतनी
Flight coefficient loading
मौसम
initiated.
यहाँ लगभग 37 डिग्री का टेम्परेचर है, वायु गति 0.8 मीटर पर सेकेंड। इन सब के बावजूद यहाँ
Flight loading
उपस्थित हुए
completed.
हैं इस रोमांच को देखने के लिए। एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोलर और मौसम विभाग की अनुमति भी प्राप्त की जा चुकी है। विभिन्न ऊंचाई पर वायु गति माप ली गई है और इसे ऑनबोर्ड कंप्यूटर पर लोड कर दिया गया है।
The Satish Dhawan Space Center has its own meteorology department which keeps a very close watch on the weather at the launch base. Weather today is going to be dry and hot. The skies will remain clear. Ground winds will be benign and upper winds also are benign for the flight of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission. We are 4 minutes, 23 seconds to the launch.
सभी वैज्ञानिक अपने कंसोल पर आंकड़े देखते हुए सभी तंत्र सामान्य निष्पादन कर रहे हैं। अब हम 4 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं उड़ान से।
T-4 minutes and counting.
सामान्यतः PSLV के मिशन लगभग 2000 सेकेंड में प्राप्त कर लिए जाते हैं, लेकिन यह मिशन कुछ अलग है। इस मिशन में PSLV के चतुर्थ चरण यानी PS4 को 2 बार में प्रज्वलित कर यह उद्दिष्ट कक्षा प्राप्त की जाएगी। इसका मतलब PS4 को प्रथम कोस्टिंग फेज के बाद प्रज्वलित किया जाएगा, फिर 30 सेकेंड प्रज्वलित रहकर यह बंद हो जाएगा, फिर करीब 1600 सेकेंड की कोस्टिंग फेज जारी रहेगी। तत्पश्चात फिर से PS4 को प्रज्वलित कर 472 सेकेंड तक प्रणोद उत्पन्न किया जाएगा और फिर शांत हो जाएगा। आदित्य-L1 के कक्षा की स्थिति प्राप्त होते ही उसे निर्दिष्ट कक्षा में अंतक्षेपित किया जाएगा। इस तरह पूरे मिशन में लगभग 3800 सेकेंड का समय लगेगा।
T-3 minutes and counting.
यह PSLV-C57 का प्रमोशन यान ट्रैकिंग के संदर्भ में भी काफ़ी जटिल है। इसे ट्रैक करने के लिए शार्प, पोर्ट ब्लेयर, ब्रूने और बैग स्थित ग्राउंड स्टेशन हमें वास्तविक समय पे यान की जानकारी उपलब्ध कराते रहेंगे। लेकिन चतुर्थ चरण के प्रज्वलन के समय यान हमारे ग्राउंड स्टेशन की दृष्टि से दूर जा चुका होगा, इसलिए शिपबोर्न ट्रैकिंग या शिपबोर्न टर्मिनल को दक्षिणी पैसिफिक महासागर में स्थित किया गया है। वह हमें PS4 बर्न 1 और बर्न 2 की जानकारी उपलब्ध कराएगा। इसके बाद PS4 शट ऑफ और आदित्य-L1 के अंतक्षेपण की पुष्टि कुरु फ्रेंच गयाना स्थित ग्राउंड स्टेशन से की जाएगी।
T-2 minutes and counting.
अब हम उड़ान से 1 मिनट 50 सेकेंड की दूरी पर। यह PSLV की 59वीं उड़ान होगी और इस PSLV एक्सेल संस्करण में यह 25वीं उड़ान है। इसरो के वर्क हॉर्स कहे जाने वाले इस रॉकेट कई ऐतिहासिक मिशन को सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किया है, जिसमें चंद्रयान 1 और मार्स ऑर्बिटर मिशन उल्लेखनीय हैं। यह प्रमोशन वर्ष 2023 का 7वां मिशन होगा। इस साल की शुरुआत में SSLV के सफल प्रमोशन से शुरुआत कर LVM-3 के 2 प्रमोशन, GSLV Mark II का 1 और PSLV के 2 सफल प्रमोशन हो चुके हैं। यह PSLV का वर्तमान वर्ष में 3रा मिशन है।
All stations stand by for the time mark. T-1 minute and counting. Minus 55 seconds.
All shafts are armed.
Minus 50 seconds.
All sequencers armed.
तो हमारे साथ बने रहिए। अब 40 सेकंड पर
-40 seconds,
प्रमोशन किया
PS2
जाएगा।
VHPP open.
-35 seconds, -30 seconds,
Real-time programs activated.
-25 seconds,
PS2 VSPP open.
-20 seconds,
PS1 ignition RMS arm.
-15 seconds, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. +5 seconds.
Lift off normal.
P1 tracking.
Magnificent lift-off of PSLV-C57 with Aditya-L1 on board.
+15 seconds.
PSLV-C57 का सफल उत्थापन और इसके साथ
+20 seconds.
प्रथम भारतीय सौर अंतरिक्ष यान निकल चुका है सूर्य के
Plus
तेज से
25
विज्ञान को प्रकाश करने।
Air lead strap on ignited.
इसके साथ ही
Plus
एक और
30
कदम
seconds.
है अंतर्ग्रहीय सफर में भारत की उपस्थिति सिद्ध करने का। आप देख रहे हैं PSLV-C57 प्रथम चरण पूरी तरह सामान्य।
The rocket flying forth, following nominal trajectory and developing nominal thrust. The bright fumes against a clear midday sky.
engine main up.
A rocket launch is more than just a sight to behold.
First
The
stage
roaring
performance
sound and the
normal.
vibrations that we can feel
First
here.
engine
main
Adding
up.
to this, the thrill are just amazing. Ground lit and air lit strap-ons operating together with the first stage S139.
Ground lead strap on separated.
जैसा कि निर्धारित है ग्राउंड लेड स्ट्रैप ऑन को सेपरेट कर
Stage
दिया गया है
performance normal.
और प्रथम चरण का निष्पादन सामान्य है। इस घटनाक्रम में अगला एयर लेड स्ट्रैप ऑन को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा।
Air lead strap on separated.
जी हाँ, इसकी भी पुष्टि हो गई है। स्ट्रैप ऑन को सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है।
We are 100 seconds past the launch time. The ground lit and air lit strap-ons have been separated. S139 motor still thrusting.
S139
First stage
110
separated.
सेकंड के प्रज्वलन
Second
काल के
stage
पश्चात
engine
उसे
started.
भी
Closed
पृथक
loop
कर दिया गया
guidance
है।
initiated.
+2 minutes.
द्वितीय चरण जो कि तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, इसका प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है और वर्तमान में प्रणोद
Second
उत्पन्न कर
stage
रहा है।
performance normal.
The launch vehicle is at an altitude of 73 kilometers. First stage has been separated. Second stage has begun its operation and the closed loop guidance has been initiated. According to the announcement by Range Operations Director, PS2 is developing nominal thrust.
PS2 41 टन के तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है। इसमें विकास इंजन द्वारा 800 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न होता है और इसका प्रज्वलन काल लगभग 150 सेकंड का होगा।
Shar and Port Blair tracking stations presently acquiring signals. Flight path closely matching the prediction.
+3 minutes.
वर्तमान में यान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है।
Second stage performance normal.
यान की ऊंचाई 106 किलोमीटर तथा सापेक्ष गति 3 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड।
The velocity addition in PS2 regime is going to be from 2 kilometers per second to 4.9 kilometers per second.
Payload fairing separated.
The payload fairing covering the Aditya-L1 spacecraft has been separated. The current altitude of the launch vehicle is 118 kilometers. Relative velocity exceeding 3.8 kilometers per second.
जी हाँ, यान अब घने वातावरण से बाहर जा चुका है, इसलिए ऊष्मा कवच की जरूरत नहीं रह जाती है और इस कारण इसे
Plus
यान
4
से
minutes.
पृथक कर दिया जाता है।
Second stage performance normal.
द्वितीय चरण वर्तमान में प्रणोद उत्पन्न करता हुआ और यान पूरी तरह सामान्य प्रदर्शन करता हुआ अपने अनुमानित पथ की ओर बढ़ रहा है।
Second stage separated, third stage ignited.
द्वितीय चरण को भी सफलतापूर्वक यान से पृथक कर दिया गया है उसके प्रज्वलन काल समाप्त होने पर।
Normal.
और तृतीय चरण जो कि ठोस नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, इसका प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
We are close to 5 minutes past the launch time. Presently, the third stage of PSLV is operational, developing nominal thrust.
Plus 5 minutes.
तृतीय चरण में 7.6 टन के ठोस नोदक का प्रयोग होता है और इसका प्रज्वलन काल 117.7 सेकंड का होगा। इस दौरान यह 240 किलोन्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न करेगा। वर्तमान में यान की ऊंचाई 134 किलोमीटर तथा सापेक्ष गति 5.96 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड। जैसा कि हम जानते हैं PSLV सबसे विश्वसनीय रॉकेट रहा है इसरो का, वैसा ही प्रदर्शन करता हुआ एक और मिशन PSLV-C57 का।
For the present mission, after PS3 completes
Plus
its
6
burn
minutes.
duration, a coast phase of 200 seconds will follow, in which the rocket will continue to be steered while there is no development of thrust.
जी हाँ, अभी कुछ ही क्षणों में
Third
PS3
stage
का
action completed.
प्रज्वलन काल समाप्त हो चुका है और कोस्टिंग फेज इसके बाद जारी रहेगा।
Vehicle in combined hosting for approximately 200 seconds.
Unique to this mission, the
Vehicle
PS4
performance normal.
will start twice at pre-designated times
Plus
and
7
duration.
minutes.
The multiple start capability of PS4 will be utilized very aptly to achieve the argument of perigee of 346.6 degrees, which is very crucial for this mission. The commencement and duration of PS4 burns enable achieving this orbital parameter. Argument of perigee is the angle that is made by the perigee point from the ascending node at equatorial plane. AOP exceeding 300 degrees is helpful in mission planning to achieve halo orbit around L1 with minimal propellant expenditure.
सभी वैज्ञानिक गहनता से अध्ययन करते हुए इन आंकड़ों का, जो कि ग्राउंड स्टेशन द्वारा प्रसारित किए जा रहे हैं। वर्तमान में PS3, PS4 कंबाइंड कोस्टिंग फेज जारी है। यान की ऊंचाई 170 किलोमीटर तथा सापेक्ष गति 7.32 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड है।
Vehicle performance normal.
Plus 9 minutes.
Speaking a few words about the Aditya-L1, describing the sun, Indian Vedas have said, Yesha Bhagavan Manirakasha Mandalasya Chakravarti Khechara Chakrasya Deepako Brahmanda Bhandasya asayaiva charkarti bharvati jarhati ch jagat. This mighty jewel, the light of eastern sky, who generates, operates, and destroys the universe, while the energy of sun, after having filtered by the atmosphere, is available for the sustenance of earth, the explosive phenomena in sun and the solar flares are a cause for concern to the spacecraft and human space missions. The vantage point for such observations is a place in between the sun and earth.
Third stage separated.
Now we have a successful separation event of the third stage of PSLV.
It is approximately 900 seconds.
Plus 10 minutes.
जी हाँ, तृतीय चरण को सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है और अब PS4 कोस्टिंग फेज पर है। इस दौरान कोई भी प्रणोद उत्पन्न नहीं हो रहा है। यान प्राप्त संवेग से आगे बढ़ता हुआ और निर्धारित पथ का अनुकरण करता हुआ जा रहा है।
We are 627 seconds from the launch. For another 600 more seconds or so, we will be getting tracking data from the BIAX ground station.
यह कोस्टिंग फेज़ लगभग 900 सेकंड का होगा। इस दौरान हम आपको कुछ जानकारी देते हैं। लैग्रेंज पॉइंट से जुड़ी कुछ रोचक तथ्य भी हैं, जैसे कि इस पॉइंट का नाम एक इटालियन फ्रेंच गणितज्ञ जोसेफ लुइग लैग्रेंज के सम्मान में रखा गया था। उन्होंने 1972 में इसे अपनी तकनीकी प्रपत्र जनरल 3 बॉडी प्रॉब्लम में वर्णित किया है, लेकिन इससे पहले भी 3 पॉइंट L1, L2 और L3 को खोजने का श्रेय स्विस गणितज्ञ लेनार्ड आयलर को जाता है। L1 पॉइंट पर नासा ने पहले ही सोलर एंड हेलियोस्फेरिक ऑब्जर्वेटरी सोहो को पहुंचा चुका है और विश्व प्रसिद्ध जेम्स वेब टेलीस्कोप को L2 लैग्रेंज पॉइंट पर स्थापित किया गया है। L1 की पृथ्वी से सूर्य की दिशा में दूरी लगभग 15 लाख किलोमीटर है और इसे हम एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट में 0.01 एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट कह सकते हैं। यह पृथ्वी से सूरज की दूरी का केवल 1% है।
The vantage point for observing sun is a place in between the sun and earth where direct visibility exists to the sun while continuous communication link exists with the earth. These observations will generate a forewarning about disturbances in near earth space environment which could pose danger to the communication systems and spacecrafts. Various thermal and magnetic phenomena on the sun are of extreme nature, which cannot be replicated in labs. The best way is to observe the sun up close. The distance between the Earth and Sun is approximately 150 million kilometers. At the central region of the Sun, known as core, the temperature can reach as high as 15 million degrees Celsius. Power source for the Sun is nuclear fusion of hydrogen atoms that takes place in the core. The visible surface of Sun is relatively cool and has a temperature of about 5,500 degrees Celsius. The Aditya-L1 spacecraft is planned to be placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrangian point 1 or L1 of the Sun-Earth system, which is about 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, roughly 1% of the distance to Sun. A halo orbit is a periodic three-dimensional orbit near the Lagrange point in the three-body problem of orbital mechanism. The object in this orbit stays in place by the gravity of Earth and Sun. It requires little energy for station keeping. Several probes have been placed in space to observe the Sun by various space agencies. Lagrange's point L1 is a great location for solar explorers such as Aditya-L1, as it allows for an unobstructed view of the sun that is never eclipsed by Earth. At L1, Aditya-L1 will join spacecraft such as ESA-NASA's Solar Heliospheric Observatory or SOHO, which has been at L1 since 1996.
लैग्रांज पॉइंट एक ऐसी जगह है अंतरिक्ष में जहां अगर कोई चीज़ पहुंचती है तो वह वहीं बनी रहती है, क्योंकि लैग्रांज पॉइंट पर दो बड़े द्रव्यमानों का गुरुत्वाकर्षण खिंचाव बराबर हो जाता है और इसमें एक अभिकेंद्रीय बल है कि जो कि पिंड को दोनों द्रव्यमान के साथ बनाए रखता है। ऐसे 5 लैग्रेंजियन पॉइंट्स होते हैं पृथ्वी और सूर्य के बीच। इन पॉइंट्स में अंतरिक्ष यान को भेजकर कम से कम ईंधन की खपत पर या उस स्थान पर अंतरिक्ष प्रयोगों को अध्ययन के लिए बनाए रखा जा सकता है। आदित्य-L1 उपग्रह को भी ऐसे ही लैग्रांज पॉइंट 1 पर स्थापित किया जा रहा है। अंतरिक्ष यान को यहाँ तक पहुँचने में 125 दिन का समय लगेगा। इस लैग्रेंजियन पॉइंट्स के कुछ फ़ायदे होते हैं, जैसे हम यहाँ आदित्य-L1 के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो यह अंतरिक्ष यान लैग्रेंजियन पॉइंट 1 के पास जाएगा और यहाँ ऐसा पॉइंट है जहाँ से सूर्य को बिना किसी ग्रहण या रुकावट के निरंतर देखा जा सकेगा और अध्ययन किया जा सकेगा। दूसरा फायदा यह कि विभिन्न मापन या विश्लेषणों के लिए किसी भी तरह की रुकावट या कमी नहीं आएगी। वायु न होने की वजह से इससे दूर तक स्पष्ट देखा जा सकेगा। लैग्रेंज पॉइंट पर इस वेधशाला को रखने का मुख्य कारण यह भी है कि यहाँ उपग्रह लगभग स्थिर रहेगा और उपग्रह के अभिवृत्ति नियंत्रण के लिए अधिक ईंधन की आवश्यकता नहीं होगी। वर्तमान में PS4 चरण का कोस्टिंग फेज जारी है। अब यान की ऊंचाई 280 किलोमीटर तथा सापेक्ष गति 7.18 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड है। अब यह उचित अभिवृत्ति प्राप्त कर पुनः प्रज्वलित किया जाएगा।
Vehicle performance normal.
The Aditya-L1 spacecraft carries 7 payloads to observe the protosphere, chromosphere, and corona, which is the outermost layer of the Sun. These payloads use electromagnetic, particle, and magnetic field detectors. First among the 4 remote sensing payloads is Visible Emission Line Chronograph (VELC), which is a prime payload designed as a reflective coronagraph with a multi-slit spectrograph. This payload is developed jointly by Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Laboratory of Electro-Optical Systems, UR Rao Satellite Center, ISRO Inertial Systems Unit, and Space Applications Center. The second payload is Solar Low Energy X-ray Spectrometer or SOLEX, designed to measure the solar soft X-ray flux to study solar flares. This payload is developed by UR Rao Satellite Center. Third payload is the Solar Earth Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope SUIT, which is a UV telescope to image the solar disk in the near ultraviolet wavelength range. The payload is developed by Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune, LEOS, URSE, and IISU. The fourth payload is High Energy L1 Orbiting X-ray Spectrometer or HELIOS, developed by URSE. Is a hard X-ray spectrometer designed to study solar flares in high energy X-rays. The fifth payload is the one which is meant for in situ observations. This is Aditya Solar Wind Particle Experiment, or otherwise called as ASPEX, which comprises of spectrometers to measure low energy particles and high energy ions. This payload is developed by Physical Research Laboratory. The sixth payload is Plasma Analyzer Package for Aditya, in short, PAPA. It is designed to understand the solar winds and its composition and perform mass analysis of solar winds. This payload is developed by Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. The seventh payload is a magnetometer or MAG developed by LEOS, which will measure the low intensity interplanetary magnetic field in space using a pair of magnetic sensors.
जी हाँ, आदित्य L1 उपग्रह में नितभार के बारे में जानते हुए इसमें सुदूर संवेदन नितभार हैं और यथास्थिति प्रेक्षण नितभार लगे हुए हैं। सुदूर संवेदन नितभार में सूर्य का प्रेक्षण करने के लिए VELC कोरोना प्रतिबिंबन और वर्णक्रम मापन के लिए है। सोलर अल्ट्रावायलेट इमेजिंग टेलीस्कोप जो कि संकीर्ण और ब्रॉडबैंड फ्रीक्वेंसी में फोटोस्फीयर और क्रोमोस्फीयर प्रतिबिंबन यह पैराबैंगनी प्रतिबिंबन टेलीस्कोप है। इसी क्रम में अगला है SOLEX सोलर लो एनर्जी एक्सरे स्पेक्ट्रोमीटर जो कि सॉफ्ट एक्सरे वर्णक्रम मापी है जो कि सूर्य के प्रेक्षण के लिए प्रयोग किया जाएगा। इसमें HE-L1OX हाई एनर्जी L1 ऑर्बिटिंग एक्सरे स्पेक्ट्रोमीटर है जो कि हार्ड एक्सरे वर्णक्रम मापी है। इसकी अभिकल्पना सोलर फ्लेयर के अध्ययन के लिए की गई है। यथास्थिति नितभार में आदित्य सोलर विंड पार्टिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट, इसका उद्देश्य है सोलर पवन सौर पवन में भारी आयंस, प्रोटॉन्स और अल्फा पार्टिकल का विश्लेषण करना। अगला है प्लाज्मा एनालाइजर पैकेज फॉर आदित्य। यह भी सौर पवन में उपस्थित कणों में इलेक्ट्रॉन और भारी आयंस की दिशा के साथ विश्लेषण करने के लिए इसे बनाया गया है। एडवांस ट्राइएक्सियल हाई रेजोल्यूशन डिजिटल मैग्नेटोमीटर, इसे त्रिअक्षीय चुंबकीय क्षेत्र के यथास्थिति मापन करने के लिए बनाया गया है और ऐसे 2 समुच्चय लगे हुए हैं इस उपग्रह में।
Vehicle performance normal.
यान पूरी तरह सामान्य, सभी तंत्र सामान्य रूप से कार्य कर रहे हैं और यान अपनी उद्देश्य कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहा है। आदित्य L1 के नितभार इसरो व अन्य वैज्ञानिक संस्थानों के साथ मिलकर तैयार किए गए हैं। विजिबल एमिशन लाइन क्रोनोग्राफ VELC इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स बेंगलुरु द्वारा तैयार किया गया है। सोलर अल्ट्रावायलेट इमेजिंग टेलीस्कोप सूट इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी सेंटर फॉर एस्ट्रोनॉमी एंड एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स पुणे द्वारा निर्मित है। सोलेक्स और हेलियोस दोनों ही UR सैटेलाइट सेंटर बेंगलुरु द्वारा निर्मित किए गए हैं। ASPX और PAPA स्पेस फिजिक्स लेबोरेटरी VSSC तिरुवनंतपुरम द्वारा निर्मित किए गए हैं। और अंत में मैग्नेटोमीटर लेबोरेटरी फॉर इलेक्ट्रो ऑप्टिक्स सिस्टम्स बेंगलुरु द्वारा निर्मित किया गया है। यह कोस्ट फेज जारी रहने वाला है। आइए इस अंतराल में आपको लिए चलते हैं इस मिशन से जुड़ी चर्चा में, जहां वरिष्ठ वैज्ञानिक हमारे प्रश्नों के उत्तर देंगे और फिर इस चर्चा के बाद हम वापस आएंगे लाइव इवेंट्स में।
As we are in the low visibility region of the flight path, we take you to the discussion room where the key personnel connected with the Aditya-L1 will enlighten more on the payloads and details. Over to discussion room.
Welcome viewers. After India has made history with the Chandrayaan-3 moon launch, it has now set its eyes on the sun. These scientific breakthroughs back to back are like feathers on our country's hat. In fact, these celestial bodies are very important and are considered as sacred bodies in multiple global religions. The sun is the central body of our solar system. The world revolves around it, and it is a source of energy for all planets, including the Earth. Today, I'm joined by all the scientists who have played behind the scenes to make this project a grand success. And I'm Srinidhi, reaching out to you from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. And today we'll be discussing about the impact and the benefits of the Aditya-L1 space mission. So today we are joined by Dr. Anil Bharadwaj, Director of PRL, Professor Annapurni Subramanian, Director of Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Dr. Sankara Subramanian, Principal Scientist of Aditya-L1 mission, Dr. Durgesh Tripathi, PI of SUIT, Dr. Dipankar Banerjee, Director of IRIS, Nainital, Dr. Satish Tampi, PI of PAPA,
Plus 25 minutes.
and Dr. Vipin K. Yadav, PI of Magnetometer, joining us today for a 25-minute fireside chat on the sidelines of Aditya-L1 launch. To start with the principal scientist and PI of SOLEX, Dr. Sankara Subramaniam, why is Aditya-L1 mission so important, and what are the objectives of this mission?
Thanks a lot. First of all, let me thank ISRO as well as the Government of India for providing a great opportunity for the solar and heliophysics community of the country. Both solar, heliophysics as well as astronomy thrives on data. More the data you have, we get more understanding about the system. And sun is our own star, our dearmost star, so understanding them is much more important for our everyday life. So this mission, Aditya, when it was conceived initially, with a support from our Professor U.R. Rao, along with Dr. Srikumar and Professor G. Srinivasan, we made sure that we will have a unique data set which is not available from any other missions internationally. So the 7 payloads, what was conceived for this particular mission, will provide a unique set of data which is currently not available from any other missions, which will provide us new insight into the solar and heliophysics community in India, and provides some important aspects like the initiation of the coronal mass ejections, the speed at which it gets initiated, and some wave bands which are very important for the Earth ionospheric connections like near ultraviolet band, and the high energy particles, which is high energy radiations as well as particles which is coming from the solar flares and coronal mass ejections. So these are the informations which would be available from this particular mission, which will allow us to understand the sun, its dynamics, as well as the inner heliosphere, which is an important element for the current day technology, as well as the space weather aspects of it.
Thank you so much for your remarks, sir. So now we'll move on to Dr. Anil Bharadwaj. So the sun is a very important energy source of life. Having understood that, it creates a trouble when it's angry. How does Aditya-L1 helps us through the mission?
Thank you, and good morning, viewers. First of all, let me tell you that Aditya-L1 is a multi-wavelength, multi-instrument, and multi-directional mission. Multi-wavelength because it works in X-rays, UV, and visible. Multi-instrument because there are 7 experiments on board. And multi-directional because it looks not only in the sun direction but also around it. Now when the sun becomes angry, there are 2 types of process which happens. One is solar flares, that means electromagnetic radiation, which reaches the Earth in 8 minutes. But along with that, there is a mass which is also ejected out in form of plasma, and that can take about 2 to 4 days to reach the Earth. What we are looking for from the Aditya-L1 mission is to see the impact of solar flares as well as coronal mass ejections as they come to the Earth. We have instruments which look at not only in the sun direction, but also in other directions, for example, perpendicular to ecliptic or in the earth directions. The impact is that we need to see when the sun becomes quite angry, what are the ways in which it is affecting the planet Earth, and L1 point being at point L1, which is just 1% away from the Earth, it is able to provide us a lot of new informations of the plasma and the electromagnetic radiations which is reaching the planet Earth.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we'll move on to Dr. Annapurni Subramaniam. So the science behind this mission is very unique. So what's the impact of this on the Earth and also on the heliosphere?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on this show. To put the thing in context, I'm the director of Indian Institute of Astrophysics, and we have delivered one of the major payloads on this mission. This is the visible emission line coronagraph. So if you actually look at the words used in it, it is visible because it is seeing the sun and the visible wavelength. Emission line, so what is it detecting? It is the emission line of certain elements. Because the corona is hot, the emission which you get is in the terms of, it's not absorbing the light which is coming from the sun, but it's already hot, so it is coming down by emitting lines. So we are tracking these lines using what? A coronagraph. Now what is a coronagraph? This instrument makes a total solar eclipse all the time within the instrument. So you are looking at the sun all the time, 24/7, through using this mission. And this instrument looks at the sun as though it is always in total solar eclipse. Now, why you want to have the eclipse all the time? Because you want to see the corona. Why corona? Because when sun burps, when sun is angry, the corona is what it takes the matter away. Now, what is unique about this instrument? This is going to see the corona as close as possible from the disk of the sun. Now, what is so challenging about it? It is because the sun's corona is 1,000,000 times fainter than the disk of the sun. So you have to not see the disk of the sun, but see only the corona. So this instrument is very difficult to make, challenging, but it is made. Now it's going to the orbit. Now what we plan to study using this instrument is the corona, its dynamics. Through this emission line, you can actually measure the velocity by simple physics called Doppler effect. So you can measure the velocity, you can measure how much matter is moving, and eventually how that matter will come to the Earth and the heliosphere. So it's overall this instrument, along with the others, of course, the other PI will also be explaining about it. So these holistically will give you a lot of information regarding not only the sun, but also the heliosphere. Thank you.
That was very interesting, Doctor. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to Durgesh Tripathi, Dr. Durgesh Tripathi. You are the PI of the for the payload suit. How is that different from other telescopes like Hubble or James Webb? And what are you going to investigate using this?
Yeah, so good afternoon. My voice is going to mumble because I'm still in the awe of the launch, and one of the payload is gone there. So essentially, JWST, which is James Webb Telescope, and the Hubble Telescope, they are going to look at the universe, different objects, galaxies, star formation, and other objects you see in the universe. Whereas when we talk about Aditya-L1, it is going to look at one particular object, which is our sun. And it's also kept on the other side of the sun-Earth line at the L1 point, whereas the James Webb Telescope went on the other side of the Earth, which is at the L2 point. Now, the scientific difference, of course, they also observe in ultraviolet, but Aditya, as Professor Anil Bharadwaj and also Professor Annapurni Subramaniam alluded to, these are multi-wavelength satellite, and they will be observing all across the electromagnetic spectrum. In particular, suit is going to be looking at the ultraviolet radiation in 2000 to 4000 angstrom, if that matters to you, emits from the lower and the middle atmosphere of the sun. And what we want to look at that how in general the sun's atmosphere is coupled by looking at the observations at various height, and how actually this radiation is coming and getting absorbed in the Earth's atmosphere, and what kind of effect it can have in the chemistry of ozone and oxygen, for example, and also these explosions which are happening, how much radiation they are creating, and how much effect it might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And now we move on to Dr. Satish Thampi. You are connected with the payload PAPA. Already the plasma particles on the moon are analyzed. How do you analyze plasma particles in the sun? And what is the importance of solar winds, and how does it impact?
Thank you.
Thank you for giving opportunity to come into this room. As my colleagues, they mentioned actually about the sun. Today we have the auspicious day where actually we are going to our own star, that is the sun. Just I want to tell to the viewers that actually the sun, which is our hero, basically in the solar system. If you look into the mass of the solar system, 99% of the mass of the solar system is occupied by sun. And also this sun is plasma. Now when we are talking about the heliosphere, actually with this all our planets are engulfed in that thing. You know, we have been studying in decades, maybe in centuries, we have been studying about the sun. But what we are lacking actually a comprehensive approach, because sun is giving its energy mainly in three forms. The first one is the radiation, actually my colleagues already talked about, which we can do remotely from our ground. But the plasma, basically we are talking about the solar wind, what we call the space plasma, as well as the magnetic field. This can be only studied by in situ. If we study all these radiation, particles and field, then only we will get a full comprehensive understanding of the sun. Now, we are getting the first space-based observatory from the Indian soil, and we are making this opportunity. And of course, I am thankful to ISRO and all my colleagues and my teammates from VSSC and all my scientific colleagues here. This is the opportunity we got actually. We are trying to understand actually all the three things, radiation, particles and field. Already they mentioned about the radiation. Now, Dr. Bibin will be talking about field. Just I want to emphasize on the particles. That's why we named it as PAPA. PAPA means Plasma Analyzer Package for Aditya. This is developed by Space Physics Laboratory in support of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. And now this instrument has two components. If you look at the solar wind, basically it comprises of 95% protons, then alpha particles roughly around 4 to 5%, then equal number of electrons also. So our PAPA is a comprehensive package measuring both ions and the electrons. Now these electrons, like already our colleagues, they mentioned actually the major transition events like coronal mass ejection. That's a huge mass which is coming out of sun. Basically it's a plasma. Basically when we are talking about solar and basically nothing but it's the extension of the corona only. That's the atmosphere. Now these particles actually, they only actually modulate the energy and momentum of the planetary atmospheres. See, when the sun is quiet, like it is not aggressive, sun is what we are getting the ambient solar wind. So if you look into that thing actually, that one actually gives what we call about the interactions, what we call the normal routine phenomenon which is happening on the earth. But when there is sun is angry, it gives like in a CME, CAR or these sort of events are happening, that is really going to affect our planets. That's what we call the space weather. Now our intention is to understand, first of all, actually what these effects, basically the solar wind, in the ambient condition as well as during this transition events, how this solar wind behaves, and also how this coronal mass ejections which is passing through different planets, how actually, what are the different things, like what we call about the microphysics, macrophysics and the mesophysics of that things, that we want to understand. So one thing is actually it's a physics subjective to understand because we are getting an ideal point, Lagrangian point, which is in the sun-earth plane, and we will be seeing the events exactly there. Second thing is actually, we can definitely monitor the parameters. Like, particularly Papa will measure electrons and ions, we will be getting energy, direction and angular information, mass information. So if we know these things related to electrons, electrons we don't want the mass, but for the ions we are getting the mass information. Okay. Coupling all this information, actually what we can do is we can derive the plasma moments. That will be definitely going to the modeling part, actually dynamics part, and that will definitely going to tell about the effect of the space weather effects.
Yes.
So in due course, actually, with the L1, in addition to other L5 missions, we will be able to tell. This is the importance of the plasma missions.
Yes.
That actually, as you mentioned, actually earlier with the lunar mission we achieved, we tried to understand that thing. Really it changed, this plasma studies changed the perspective of the moon. Now Aditya will give more detail about that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. And now we move on to Dr. Dipankar Banerjee. So you manage the beautiful solar observatory at Nainital. How do you think the studies of heliophysics will supplement Aditya-L1? Can you tell us something about the history of solar observatories in India?
That's right. India has a long tradition of looking at the sun from the ground. In fact, from Kodaikanal Observatory, we have been observing the sun for more than 100 years. And also we have beautiful, solar observatory at Udaipur, in the lakeside, and at Nainital. We are looking at the sun. But there are limitations of looking at the sun from the ground because you can only see the lower atmosphere of the sun. So this was very, very important that we could go to the space. And this is a fantastic opportunity. Originally, more than 10 years back, we were only looking at a small satellite program. And then Professor U.R. Rao suddenly came up with this idea, why are we taking baby steps? We should think big. We should go to much longer distance. And then this opportunity came in, the Lagrangian mission, The entire country, all the scientific institution got very much highly motivated. There are multiple payloads were then proposed. So eventually now we have a Lagrangian-1 observatory class mission. And as you heard from my colleagues, that it is a multi-wavelength observatory. So that's very important to have the shorter wavelength coverage from the space. And in addition, the ground-based observations are also important. So a combination of the ground-based telescope and the space-based platform is very, very important. And since you asked about the question about the, how Aditya in the overall heliophysics research within the international scenario, we only have 3 spacecraft around Lagrangian 1 point primarily from NASA and ESA. So I think again this is a fantastic achievement from India. If you could reach L1 with the full observatory class mission, it will really open a new window altogether. So I think this is a great opportunity and we are all looking forward. And as I mentioned, probably we'll request that, a better ground-based facility. We have already projected a National Large Solar Telescope project from the ground. I think this is now high time we have a very nice ground-based telescope also to complement the capabilities of Aditya-L1.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, it's a very great opportunity. And now we move on to Dr. Vipin K. Yadav. So you're in charge of the magnetometer. What is the contribution of magnetometer to Aditya program?
You see, the magnetic field measurements are very crucial in space and especially at L1 point. What we are going to measure with magnetometer is the interplanetary magnetic field that is coming all the way from Sun and towards the Earth. So typically these values at L1 point are around 5 to 10 nanotesla. But these values increases whenever there is an extreme solar event, such as the coronal mass ejection or say solar magnetic storms. Now, these events are crucial to monitor the near Earth space weather because these can have an effect on the life on Earth. If you remember Quebec, there was an event when the power lines were snapped a few years ago. That was because of an extreme solar event. So to keep an eye on the surroundings of Earth, we need these measurements. And apart from that, for solar wind observations also, these measurements will be crucial. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So now we move on to Dr. Anuj Nandi. So what is the importance of solar flares and the impact in heliospheres? And how does Aditya-L1 contribute to all of this?
Good afternoon, viewers. As my colleagues already pointed out the importance of this mission and the instruments about. So the thing is, as you know, that solar flares are the energetic and explosive energy release in few seconds to minutes time scale. And it is order of 10 to 27 arcs to 10 to 32 arcs. Now the thing is, these solar flares, why it is important as because the solar flares actually tells the dynamics and activity in the sun. So the thing is, there are 2 unique instruments built by URAO Satellite Center that is going to cover the solar flares from 1 kV to extremely high energy, around 200 kV. And we know that visible sun is only 6000 degree Kelvin temperature, whereas the outer surface of the sun is million degree Kelvin. So the thing is, why there is disparity? So I think these 2 instruments, along with the other 2 instruments, VLC and SUIT, we are going to address this $1 million questions as well as why there is difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I'd like to go back to Dr. Anil Bharadwaj. So there are many satellites that are sent to the space by other nations. So what makes Aditya-L1 different from these satellites?
Well, that's a very good question because, first of all, let me again tell you that India will be the third, or ISRO will be the third space agency to have a mission at L1 point. And I just mentioned that it is multi-wavelength, multi-instrument, and multi-direction, and it measures particle, field, and radiations. So you don't have such kind of satellites existing at L1 point so far and currently. That makes Aditya-L1 absolutely unique because we are going to measure remotely, in situ, and particles and fields. I was also mentioning about multi-direction, and that is coming from the ASPEX payload, which stands for Aditya Solar Wind Particle Experiments. And this is going to measure particles ranging from 100 EVs going to several MeVs, which is essential for us to know because when the CMEs are happening or the sun is quite angry, the plasma which is coming out from the sun ranges from several EVs to several MeVs. And therefore, we should know in what direction the plasma is coming and whether the plasma is getting accelerated in between when it comes from sun towards earth. And therefore, there is a multi-directional information which is available from the aspects payload because it consists of two sensors, Swiss and STEP, essentially giving you in two different energy bands. And therefore, we'll be able to quantify the CME, CIRs, and all the processes which is happening on the sun, which gives out coronal mass ejections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your remarks. And now finally we move on to the principal scientist, Dr. Sankar Subramaniam. So how does the Indian science community seek to capitalize on ISRO's space capabilities, especially these observatory missions like Astrostat and Aditya-L1?
Yeah, so now ISRO has established that it has a capability to send observatory class missions anywhere in the interplanetary medium. ISRO also is developing capability for small satellite missions like a nanosat, CubeSat, as well as the small satellite capability. And that is something which especially a heliophysics community could utilize it because we can, at a low cost, we can launch many more such instruments which are essential for heliophysics community here in India. So, and also the bigger mission takes its own life cycle because it requires technologies to be developed for a bigger missions. So in between these big missions, if we capitalize on these small satellite missions, and that will enhances the science capability of our country to the next level. And as you know, the science and technologies are always synergized. As the technology improves, your science improves. When I started my career in solar physics, I started with a photospheric magnetic field. Now we are in a position where we can do coronal magnetic field with Aditya-L1, which was not feasible when I was doing my PhD. So similarly, as we move on and as the technology starts to improve, we would be able to generate much more capable instruments, much more compact instruments, which will enable us to do much more science than what we can currently do. So we look forward to capitalize on ISRO's capabilities, both at the large scale as well as at the small scale instruments, and also its capability for developing new technologies in the near future.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very interesting. And to end this, I have a last question to Dr. Dipankar Banerjee. And it's about what kinds of outreach is possible through this launch to energize the scientific community?
This is a very, very important question, and we are proud to be Indian now after the Chandrayaan success. I think it's just not the students, it's the entire country is excited. And we got this opportunity to now travel towards sun. So it is very important that the younger generation, comes into the research and also utilizes the data. These scientific missions are for the community, and it has to be the community driven. So some of our scientists, who have been engaged with this mission for decades, we understand what is expected to be, this data. But the younger generation, they need to be trained. And so for that reason, we also have a Aditya support cell at Nainital, and we are going around in the country. We are regularly conducting workshops. So through these workshops and training program, we really want to reach out to other, people who are particularly in the universities or IITs, because they have so far not been directly involved with the Aditya mission. So I think we are really, really going out, and we expect that the youngsters, that the next generation will come and utilize this data, because the data is for the community. So unless, we have more users, we will not be able to effectively utilize the data, scientific data which is coming, and the way we can help the community at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think it is very important for us also to reach out to schools and colleges, because the younger generation should be told about this kind of activities which is happening in the country. Chandrayaan-3 launch has galvanized the whole nation, and everybody is interested to know what all is happening in the science and technology within the country. And therefore, this mission, along with the Chandrayaan-3 mission, that is the Aditya-L1 mission and Chandrayaan-3 mission, is going to give us a lot of new information which is going to be very beneficial for the country. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for participating in this discussion. And now we move on to the control room.
Thank you, Srinidhi, and I thank all the panelists for enlightening us about the high-tech science that Aditya-L1 is about to do.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने सुना इसरो के तथा अन्य संस्थानों के वरिष्ठ वैज्ञानिकों ने हमारे बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सवालों के बहुत ही रोचक उत्तर दिए हैं। इस दौरान चतुर्थ चरण के बर्न 1 को कंफर्म किया गया है फिजी टेलीमेट्री स्थित स्टेशन से। इसमें यान में होने वाले त्वरण के बदलाव को मापा जाता है और इससे पता लगाया जाता है कि यान के इंजन में शुरुआत हुई थी या नहीं, और इसकी पुष्टि कर ली गई है। लेकिन अभी भी यान हमारे दृष्टि से बाहर है, हमारे ट्रैकिंग रेंज से बाहर है, लेकिन इसकी यात्रा अभी जारी है। और अब हम स्क्रीन पर देख पा रहे हैं यह पूर्वानुमानित पथ दिखाया जा रहा है। यह अनुमानित पथ है। ग्राउंड स्टेशन से पुष्टि होने के पश्चात यहाँ पर इसकी पुष्टि की जाएगी। आज 11:50 पर प्रमोचित हुए PSLV-C57 रॉकेट की यात्रा अभी भी जारी है। प्रथम, द्वितीय तथा तृतीय चरण के सामान्य कार्यकाल के पश्चात इन्हें यान से पृथक कर दिया गया था। और फिर
टर्मिनल acquires telemetry signal.
जी हाँ, इसकी पुष्टि हो गई है। शिपबोर्न टर्मिनल से हमारे यान को ट्रैक कर लिया गया है।
At present, ground trace and FPD are updated based on real-time data.
अब हमारे ग्राफ को वास्तविक समय से दिखाया जा रहा है। यह वास्तविक डेटा है जो अब हम देख पा रहे हैं।
Welcome back to the live coverage of PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission. The launch took place at 11:50 hours Indian Standard Time from the second launch pad at Satish Dhawan Space Center, Shar, Sriharikota. The first, second and third stage of the launch vehicle have performed normally, and the launch vehicle was in the no visibility range for the ground tracking stations. Shipborne terminal in Pacific Ocean has started to acquire signal 51 minutes into the flight.
अब कुछ ही क्षणों में हम चतुर्थ चरण के पुनः प्रज्वलन को देखेंगे।
In the past 26 minutes or so, the ground trace for the flight was being updated by extrapolation.
Fourth stage engine started for band 2.
यहाँ अभी अभी रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर ने इसकी पुष्टि की। चतुर्थ चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है। यह पुनः प्रज्वलन है PS4 का कोस्टिंग फेज के पश्चात। यह वास्तविक समय पे हमें यहाँ आंकड़े उपलब्ध हो रहे हैं कुरू स्टेशन से।
Very happy piece of news here.
Normal.
Range Operations Director has confirmed the second burn commencement for the PS4 stage. Around 14 more minutes to go for the spacecraft injection.
जी हाँ, अभी भी लगभग 14 मिनट बाकी हैं हमारे अंतरिक्ष यान आदित्य-L1 को अंतक्षेपण के लिए। आपकी जानकारी के लिए बता दें कि इस कालावधि जब अंतरिक्ष यान या हमारा यान हमारी दृष्टि से दूर हो जाता है, इस कालावधि में ग्राउंड स्टेशन की दृष्टि से बाहर जा चुका होता है और यान के ऑन बोर्ड कंप्यूटर पर टेलीमेट्री स्टोरेज पर यान के महत्वपूर्ण आंकड़े सेव किए जाते हैं। जब यह हमारे तय ग्राउंड स्टेशन की रेंज में आते हैं तब इन आंकड़ों का प्रसारण होता है और वहाँ से इनकी पुष्टि की जाती है कि यान इस दौरान किन गतिविधियों से गुजरा।
Fourth stage performance normal.
The fourth stage performing normally. The second burn is expected to last for 472 seconds.
यह चतुर्थ चरण है PSLV XL रॉकेट का। इसमें 2.5 टन के नोदक का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है। यह तरल नोदक हैं। इसमें 2 इंजन लगे होते हैं, हर एक 7.33 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न करता है। इस तरह कुल प्रणोद 14.6 किलो न्यूटन का होता है।
Plus 55 minutes.
इस प्रज्वलन काल में इसे 472 सेकंड तक प्रज्वलित रखा जाएगा। वरिष्ठ गणमान्य व्यक्ति यहाँ उपस्थित हैं।
We are close to 55 minutes 30 seconds past the launch. PS4 stage currently burning for the second time.
Stage performance normal.
Intended trajectory closely matching the prediction. Presently, the shipborne terminal is acquiring the signal. Few seconds later, there will be another no visibility phase before Koru starts to acquire signal.
जी अभी द्वितीय बर्न चालू है PS4 स्टेज का। अभी कुछ 200 और सेकेंड जलकर यह शांत हो जाएगा। सूर्य एक बड़ा और हमेशा से एक समीप का सितारा रहा है हमारे लिए। असल में यह गर्म आग का गोला है जो अनगिनत हाइड्रोजन एटम्स के फ्यूजन रिएक्शन से ऊर्जा प्राप्त करता है और इस ऊर्जा से इस सौर मंडल को एक परिवार के भांति समेटे हुए है। पृथ्वी से सूर्य की दूरी लगभग 150 मिलियन किलोमीटर है। सूर्य ही हमारी ऊर्जा स्रोत है और इस जीवन जो हम जानते हैं उसका भी स्रोत है।
Loss of signal for shipborne terminal. The next telemetry station is Kuru. The telemetry signal break will be approximately 205 seconds. During this non-visibility period, ground trace and flight parameters will not be updated.
यान फिर से अंतर्दृष्टि हो चुका है, हमारे ट्रैकिंग रेंज से बाहर है। अगला ट्रैकिंग स्टेशन कुरु स्थित फ्रेंच गयाना स्थित कुरु स्टेशन से हमें आंकड़े उपलब्ध होंगे कुछ ही समय में।
After being injected into the space, the Aditya-L1 will not travel directly to the L1 point. Transfer maneuvers will be performed to position the spacecraft in a halo orbit. Aditya-L1 will first be made to perform maneuvers in Earth orbit. adjustments will be made in its orbital parameters. After ascertaining the normalcy of the craft, its systems, payloads, and the orbital parameters, burn to exit Earth's sphere of influence will be initiated. After exit from SOI, the cruise phase will start, and subsequently the spacecraft will be injected into a large halo orbit around L1. The total travel time from launch to L1 will take about 4 months for Aditya-L1.
इस दौरान आइए आपको अवगत करा दें आदित्य-L1 के मुख्य उद्देश्य से। आदित्य-L1 मिशन का मुख्य उद्देश्य है सौर गतिविधियों के विभिन्न पहलुओं में महत्वपूर्ण जानकारियां उपलब्ध कराना और इन गतिविधियों का अंतरिक्ष मौसम के असर का अध्ययन करना। इस कार्य के लिए इसमें 7 भार लगे हुए हैं, जिनकी मदद से आदित्य-L1 फोटोस्फीयर, क्रोमोस्फीयर और सूर्य के बाहरी परत के विभिन्न वेवलेंथ में प्रेक्षण कर सकेगा। विशेष वैज्ञानिक उद्देश्य इस प्रकार हैं: सूर्य के ऊपरी परत, जिसे हम कोरोना के नाम से जानते हैं, इसके गतिकी का अध्ययन करना, क्रोमोस्फीयर और कोरोनल तापमान, आंशिक रूप से आयनिक प्लाज्मा की भौतिकी, कोरोनल मास इजेक्शन की शुरुआत और फ्लेयर्स का अध्ययन, सूर्य के कण की गतिशीलता के अध्ययन के लिए आंकड़े प्रदान करना और यथास्थिति कण और प्लाज्मा वातावरण के प्रेक्षण करना।
+1 hour.
वर्तमान में आरओडी ने घोषणा की अब चतुर्थ चरण को बंद कर दिया गया है, अब उसका थ्रस्ट कट ऑफ कर दिया गया है और वह बंद हो चुका है और इसकी भी पुष्टि हो चुकी है कि आदित्य-L1 के अंतःक्षेपण की स्थितियां प्राप्त की जा चुकी हैं।
We are now eagerly awaiting the injection of the satellite, as we have the confirmation from the Range Operations Director that the thrust cutoff for 4th stage of PSLV has been achieved. We are 1 hour into the flight.
कुछ ही क्षणों में क्रूज स्थित ग्राउंड स्टेशन से इसकी पुष्टि की जाएगी।
Highly anticipated event next is the separation event of Aditya-L1 spacecraft.
यान अपने निर्धारित कक्षा की ओर कुछ ही क्षणों में इसकी पुष्टि होनी बाकी है। यान से अंतरिक्ष यान आदित्य-L1 का सफलतापूर्ण अंतःक्षेपण अभी बाकी है।
For Aditya-L1, ISRO has developed advanced flight dynamic software to obtain past trajectory data from tracking, apply mathematical computation to calculate present and future location of the spacecraft in a process known as orbit determination. But the correct orbital parameters at the time of injection are of prime importance.
अब तक कुल 22 सौर मिशनों को नासा, ईसा, जर्मन
Aditya-L1 satellite separated.
और जिसका इंतजार था वह पल आ चुका है, इसकी पुष्टि कर दी गई है। Aditya-L1
Aditya-L1 mission accomplished. Handing over to mission director.
And we have a confirmation of Aditya-L1 separation. The mission has been accomplished.
PSLV-C57 has injected Aditya-L1 satellite into the desired intermediate orbit. PSLV-C57 Aditya-L1 mission is accomplished.
Aditya-L1 को पूर्ण परिशुद्धता से इसके निर्धारित कक्षा में स्थापित कर दिया गया है। इसके बाद वह अपने आगे की सफर जारी रखेगा L1 पॉइंट के लिए।
Do join us for the address by Chairman ISRO Secretary Department of Space Shri S. Somnath.
सभी दर्शकों को शुभकामनाएं और बधाइयां इस मिशन की सफलता के लिए। अब हम आपको लिए चलते हैं अध्यक्ष महोदय के एड्रेसिंग के लिए।
Congratulations. The Aditya-L1 spacecraft has been injected in an elliptical orbit of 235 by 19,500 kilometers, which is intended very precisely by the PSLV, very unique mission mode here, with the upper stage of the PSLV taking 2 burn sequence for injecting the primary satellite for the first time. So I want to congratulate PSLV for such a very different mission approach today to do this mission of Aditya-L1 to put it in the right orbit. Now, from now, the Aditya-L1 will take its journey after some Earth maneuvers. It will start its journey to the L1 point, a very long journey of almost 125 days. So let us wish all the very best to Aditya spacecraft for its long journey and being put around the halo orbit of L1. So with me, the mission executives are there. Mr. Biju, the mission director, and Nigar Shahji, the director of the satellite project. So let them join me. Our Honorable Minister of State for Science, Technology and Space is here, Dr. Jitendra Singh. So I request him to speak a few words.
Congratulations, India. Congratulations, ISRO. And while the whole world watched this with bated breath, it is indeed a sunshine moment for India. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for making this happen by opening up new vistas for India's space sector and telling us that sky is not the limit. Thanks also, Honorable PM, for giving us the confidence, the courage and the conviction to reach out to the stars and to discover the mysteries of universe beyond. And thanks also for making us realize the enormous potential of our space fraternity. Ladies and gentlemen, Indian scientists had been working, toiling day and night for years and years together, but now comes the moment of vindication, the moment of redeeming the pledge to the nation. And coming close on the heels of successful Chandrayaan-3 landing, the successful launch of Aditya-L1 is also a testimony to the whole of science and a whole of nation approach which we have sought to adopt in our work culture. While ISRO is credited in executing this mission, the science institutes across the country have come forward to contribute in one form or the other, in small measure or big, to this mission. To name a few, the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, Bengaluru, the National Aerospace Laboratories, the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, the Nijri, NGRI, Nagpur, the IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai, and the list is too long. But that, having said that, gives me the confidence to say that this day, the 2nd of September 2023, is a day of reckoning when we move on into the next 25 years of Amrit Kal, and Mother India pledges with the collective will and collective effort of our 140 crore children to reach and occupy the place of pride on the world pedestal. Congratulations once again, Chairman Somanath, the entire ISRO team, and the entire countrymen.
Thank you. May I request the Project Director of Aditya-L1, Nigar Shaji, to say a few words.
Good afternoon. It's a dream come true for Team Aditya-L1, and I'm extremely happy that Aditya-L1 is injected in the intended orbit flawlessly by PSLV as always. And Aditya-L1 solar panels are deployed and the spacecraft will be normal. And Aditya-L1 has started its 125 days of long journey towards L1. We have our Earth burns to rise the orbit, and followed by the trans-L1 injection, and finally insertion into the halo orbit in the Sun-Earth Lagrange point L1. Once this Aditya is commissioned, it will be an asset to the heliophysics of the country and even to the global scientific fraternity. And I take this opportunity to thank Chairman ISRO, Director URSC, former Director URSC, and all the Center Directors for their support and guidance for making this mission possible. And my thanks are due to my project team and all the project executives across the center, payload teams, especially the teams from the IAA and IUCA, for the relentless effort in building the payload as well as the spacecraft. And my special thanks to the expert committee who have been guiding all through the entire project life cycle. And I thank all the industrial partners and the entire URSC team for their invaluable contribution. And I feel really honored and privileged to be part of this mission. And at this juncture, I would like to remember Professor U.R. Rao, who sowed the seed for this mission, and looking forward for a successful halo orbit insertion and further great science output from the Aditya-L1 mission. Thank you all.
Sri Biju, the Mission Director and the Project Director of PSLV.
Good afternoon to all. My big salute to all of you for achieving this wonderful mission of Aditya. We have injected Aditya in its intermediate orbit. PSLV in its 59th mission has successfully accomplished injecting Aditya-L1 in its intermediate orbit. It's all because of the dedicated effort of all of you. The challenging requirements given by satellite team was indeed very it was very challenging to meet the orbital requirements. We have gone for a new mission design strategy. We have gone through numerous simulations to validate this, and that is the proof that you are having now. I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for achieving this wonderful mission. I take this opportunity to thank all my review forums, chairman and members of all review forums, and our industry partners for giving high reliable systems for PSLV, and all our family members. With this, our capability of PSLV has increased manifold to venture into new missions, to new and challenging missions. I take this opportunity to thank my project team led by our Sri M.J. Lal as well as Damodaran, Vehicle Director and Associate Vehicle Director, in leading the entire campaign. I wish our satellite team an excellent time ahead for completing all the operations and completing all scientific objectives they have envisaged. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for spending your time watching this mission and also supporting us and congratulating us, and we joined the entire country We are very proud of the fact that we could do this mission, Aditya-L1 mission, just following the Chandrayaan-3 activities, and all of you are aware that the lander and the rover are still functioning, and our team is with the scientific instruments doing a lot of work now. And the good news is that the rover has moved almost 100 meters from the lander, and we are going to start the process of making both of them sleep in the coming 1 or 2 days, because it has to withstand the night. So until we hear about them later, so I would like to say big thanks to each one of you for the support and encouragement and blessings that you are giving to us for continuing the work of building the very strong space infrastructure and capability for India, and which will be becoming one of the strong pillars of science and technology for this nation. And thank you so much for the contributions once again, and wish you all the best for meeting you for next mission from Satish Dhawan Space Center. Thank you. Contribution from across the center, this could be done. So let me start with the Director VSSC.
Good afternoon, India. So this is the 59th mission of PSLV, and 1993 was the first mission. So this is the 30th year of PSLV. So it's PSLV is on the threshold of Shashti Purti. With the next launch, it will be making 60th launch. I wish all the very best to the satellite team, all payload specialists for the operation of the payloads and satellite in coming days. And I'm take this opportunity.
Clutchless manual. It's magic. Presenting the all-new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So I would like to mention that the keyword is let's go to the moon together. So this is overview of our company, iSpace. So we were established in 2010 with a long-term vision, Moon Valley 2040. Currently, we have employees with 200 people from over 25 countries located in Japan, USA, and Europe, Luxembourg. So we are developing lunar lander and lunar rover, and as asset, we have Mission Control Center in Tokyo. And we are providing a payload service. It's a transportation of cargo from the Earth to the moon. The second one is data service. We are providing flight data to the moon and also lunar data. As for the financial achievements, we would like to emphasize that we successfully raised over $200 million before IPO. And in this April, we succeeded in IPO in Tokyo Stock Exchange growth market. So it is the first IPO as a startup space startup in Japan. And this is the overall overview of our mission 1. So we launched our first lander to the moon last year in December, and we attempted a lunar landing in April 2003. Yeah. So unfortunately, the result was ended as hard landing. But it is very important that we identified the root cause of the hard landing as a failure, and we can reflect such lessons learned, utilize lessons learned for the future missions. Yeah. As you can see, so we successfully took some pictures in the lunar orbit, and also there's some analysis as a hard landing, then you can check our detailed analysis in the YouTube. But it is a kind of software error related to altitude measurement. Yeah. Then this is our future missions. We have two future missions now specifically planned. Yeah. So mission 2, we are going to use the same lander. And as for mission 3, we are going to upgrade for commercialization, which has 500 kilograms payload capacity. We are going to launch mission 2 in 2024, next year, and mission 3 in 2025. As for mission 3, we got a big contract from NASA under CLIPS program, and we are going to bring 100 kilograms of NASA's payload to the far side of the moon. We are going to bring 2 commercial communication satellites together with this lander. Yeah, if you are interested in a lunar mission in the future, so please kindly contact us, and let's go to the moon together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And before I invite the next presenter, may I invite presenters, the next set of 5 presenters to please come and take seats close to the podium. Unmanned Exploration Laboratory, Republic of Korea, Glabcosmos, Russia, Inmarsat, UK, Mithira Global Communications Limited, and Voyager Space, USA. And now I invite from Sagri, Japan, Mr. Satoshi Nagata. Green button for the going ahead.
Okay. Nice to meet you all. And at first, I'd like to thank you, ISRO team and the admin team for today. Nice to meet you. I'm Satoshi Nagata from Sagri. Our company from Japan, established in 2018. Actually, we have a company in Bangalore here. Actually, I'm leading the Indian engineering and sales team. I'm leading from India. Yeah. Actually, our company in our world, we are utilizing the satellite images, AI, mapping technologies. We are utilizing these 3 key features of technology and supporting farmers in emerging countries. Okay, this is an example of our technology. We have 2 key features. Yeah, one is the auto mapping of farmland. Maybe, for example, in emerging countries, farmland is scattered. For example, in Himachal Pradesh in India, scattered and hilly, it's very difficult to track. But however, if we use Sagri technology, we can map easily. Based on this mapping, after that, actually we can check the total carbon, available nitrogen, pH/cc, main chemical indexes we can track. Maybe based on these analysis, we can optimize the fertilizer. Actually, in this scenario on the world, fertilizer cost is 2 to 3 times, and also the limitation of the supply of nitrogen. That's why farmers are suffering of the high cost of fertilizer here. To deal with these challenges, we Sagri can provide the optimization of fertilizer based on satellite image analysis. Then, after these analysis, we can support farmers like these, based on satellite image analysis of farmland. Then we can suggest farmers to please decrease chemical fertilizer. Based on that decrease, farmers can decrease the greenhouse gases from the farmland. Based on these degrees of greenhouse gases, we can contribute also to the a carbon neutral situation in the world. Then after that, farmers can get the carbon credit revenue from in the voluntary credit market. Yeah. In this concept, we Sagri working actually from India and Kenya, Thailand, Vietnam, all over the world. We'd like to work together. So, the friends from the world today, if you would like to partnership with us, yeah, we are open today. And also, I'm based in Bangalore, so maybe whenever you are free, we can have a call each other. Thank you for listening. Dhanyabad.
Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, next we have from Unmanned Exploration Laboratory, Korea, Mr. Yongsub Kim. There you go, sir.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Young-Sub Kim, project manager at Unmanned Exploration Laboratory. UAL is a South Korean robotics startup specializing in making robots for space. UAL provides many.
ఏంటిది ఇంత చిక్కడగా ఉంది పవర్లేదా మరి నువ్వు
పవర్ నీ పక్కనే ఉంది కాలం మీ గడియారానికి అంతుపట్టని ఇంద్రజాలం
UAL provides many different robotic platforms for use in exploration. Our catalog includes conventional aerial drones, rovers on ground vehicles, as well as simulation chambers to test lunar equipment. As a leading startup aligned with Korea's national space policy, we have partnered with key national research institutes in aerospace, construction, and nuclear energy, and are paired with multiple government projects for space exploration. We have built and tested multiple prototypes of lunar rovers. We have small few kilogram two-wheel rovers to large four-wheel rovers with dedicated suspensions and solar panels. We are also experimenting with foldable chassis and fierce technologies that allow our rovers to be packed into small space and be available for more missions. And this is our foldable wheel rovers, and we can downsizing our wheels like this mechanism. Okay. We also have separate technologies for 3D printing technology that can use lunar regolith and manufacture synthetic lunar soil for experimenting lunar equipment. We are going through these projects with various partners both in the public and private sector. We have institutions with whom we are developing a lot of these foldable structures. These partners are critical for us to gain access to advanced technologies such as new materials testing in their space environment. Our startup is located in both the capital Seoul as well as factory in a nearby city of Ansan. The pride of our facilities is a lunar environment test bed of 10 square meters filled with lunar regolith simulant. Also, we are collaborating with science YouTuber Minani to increase public interest in the space industry in the Korea. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us in the email address here. Thank you for hearing my presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, now let me invite from Glab Cosmos, Russia, Mr. Dmitry.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I didn't bring any portable demo objects with me as the previous speaker did, but I will try to surprise you and flip my presentation backwards. This is a very complicated chart that just justifies our presence here. All of you know how important all of us are in the space industry for the space economy, and since we are in the Space Economy Forum, I thought it would be necessary to show this. This is a tribute to what the Director General of Roscosmos mentioned yesterday, the future, in fact not the future, but the forming Russian multi-constellation of satellites of different types. Several of them have already been launched. And this is in essence what the business of my company is. Glabcosmos is a 100% subsidiary of Roscosmos State Space Corporation. We were founded in 1985, and since then, India was one of our main partners in international space business. In fact, the core business of our company, the most probably important part of it is providing launch services. In fact, one of the last launches was from the newest Russian spaceport, Vostochny. We organized the launch of 42 piggybacks, 42 secondary payloads. We also propose commercial space flights to the ISS. The next launch opportunity will be in 2025. By the way, speaking about secondary payloads, all opportunities for this year are booked already, but we have every year at least 2 to 3 opportunities to put here payload on a federal Russian launch. Finally, I would like to commend ISRO for the great work it is doing with the private companies. We in Russia, the Russian government is also turning to the private space business, and recently GlavCosmos was authorized to tackle interaction with the Russian private companies. So, summarizing, we act as a one-stop shop for the whole Russian space industry. We're facilitating your contacts with a very complicated official, sometimes bureaucracy, as well known how it happens. So you're most welcome to address us, and let's go to space. Thank you very much.
I'm always on the go, and I like to stay in touch with my team wherever they are.
Got an idea or a question?
I'd like to now invite from Inmarsat UK, Mr. Gautam Sharma.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, both the chairmen, for giving me an opportunity to be part of this session. I'm Gautam Sharma, Managing Director of Inmarsat India, and we've been giving mission-critical services to the Indian government for last 2 decades. We've also recently started giving in-flight maritime services to our Indian customers. We have also been recently acquired by Viasat, which makes us one of the largest satellite service provider in the world. The mission of the company is to connect the world, because we believe when everyone is connected, the possibilities are limitless. As I said, together, Viasat plus Inmarsat becomes a $4.1 billion revenue company with EBITDA of $1.4 billion. And the enterprise value of Viasat becomes $14.8 billion. We have a constellation of 19 satellites in Ka-band, L-band, and S-band. And in addition to this, we are also planning to launch 10 more satellites, including 2 satellites in HEO orbit to give connectivity in the Arctic region. The market which we will be addressing by 2030 would be $1 trillion market, and we have around 8,000 employees, out of which 300 employees are based out of India. And we also have global offices in almost 90 plus places, including 3 offices in India, which includes Chennai, Hyderabad, and New Delhi. And we have patents of 2,500 plus jointly. The focus of Viasat entity would be on fixed satellite services, giving high-throughput broadband connectivity to consumers, strategic government services, as well as mobility services. The key markets would be commercial aviation, business aviation, maritime, space, tactical networking, etc. We also believe the future lies towards broadband and IoT, and that's why the focus would remain on energy, aviation, fixed, government, maritime, and on the IoT side, on tracking and monitoring and analytics. As I said, we believe in connections, and our focus remains on sustainability, because we strongly believe protecting environment is important for every citizen. Community and charitable giving, and diversity and inclusion. These are few of the customers which we're already serving in India, which includes Vistara Airlines. They're using our safety broadband solutions in their cockpits. In addition to SpiceJet, where we have in some of their 777 MAXes, our Global Express services. We also serve Great Eastern Shipping Corporation of India by digitizing their maritime vessels, Shipping Corporation of India, and similarly, we're also giving connectivity across board to defense forces, which includes Swift broadband as well as fleet broadband and Inmarsat-C services. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now may I invite from Mithera Global Communications Limited, Mr. Ravi. Sir.
Okay. Start working? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ravi Alawadi. I represent Mithera Global in South Asia. Mithera Global is a UK-based company making constellation of MEO broadband satellites. Our motto is to provide services anytime, anywhere, instead of every time, anywhere. Ours is steerable beams. The satellites are at 19,500 kilometers. The filings are in the Ka, QV, and W bands. The constellation is of 128 satellites, out of which the first 12 satellites will go into the orbit in December, starting December 2024. The other part, which is very important for us, is the low-cost terminal which we are developing. It's a terminal which is developed under the leadership of Mithera with the consortium of some companies. The design is at this moment proprietary, working for Ka band, but I'm pleased to announce that very soon this terminal will evolve to switch over to the other bands, including Geo, LEO, and other bands. This terminal has two usage, one for the residential users, up to 300 Mbps using 60 centimeter antenna, and 1.2 meter antenna giving up to 1 Gbps speed. These are our main markets, starting with the residential enterprise broadband services, GSM backhaul, government for digital rollouts, services including the earth monitoring, military and defense, other data and communication services, disaster recovery, and rescue services. Just to conclude, we are a bridge between MEO, bridge between GEO and LEO, and we are totally aligned to what has been mentioned every time, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is one earth, one space, one family. Thank you so much.
दोस्तों आज की बिजी लाइफ में हम फोन ले लेते हैं 40,000 रुपए का, 40 से 80,000 रुपए का लैपटॉप ले लेते हैं, लेकिन एक माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल कोर्स या अपने ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के लिए 40,000 बार सोचते हैं। यही प्रॉब्लम है कि आज आपकी ग्रोथ रुकी हुई है, आपकी सैलरी हाइक नहीं मिल रही है, डेली आप सोचते रहते हो कि मैं ऐसा क्यों हूं, मेरी लाइफ में ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है।
Thank you very much, sir, for that very crisp presentation. And I'd like to now call on, before I call on Voyager Space USA, may I also invite the esteemed delegates from Eliana, Singapore, Indra, Spain, Satlantis, Spain, PLD Space, Spain, and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to be closer to the podium. And I invite Mr. Marshall Smith from Voyager Space.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So we'll go ahead and get started. So at Voyager Space, I talked a little earlier, we're building the infrastructure. We're trying to have inventive space infrastructure and diversified technical solutions. A lot of mumbo jumbo there, but what I'll say is, this is what we're mostly known for is Starlab. Starlab is, Voyager is building the first commercial space station. We will launch this all in one single launch. It is a fairly large system. It's about 40% of the ISS pressurized volume. It has a power propulsion system, 60 kilowatt power propulsion system. The actual research system that's in the vehicle will have 100% of the payload capacity of the ISS, actually, and then some. We'll have a robotic arm and a science airlock showing, actually, that's our Bishop airlock that is on the ISS now. And then we'll have an equipment bay behind it where we'll keep most of the equipment. So, you know, this is a very large system, much larger than anything that has been launched in the previous systems as we move forward. We eventually will add on 1 or 2 modules to it, but in the long run, we plan to launch multiple of these stations because we really want to look at the focus of what we're doing. We want stations to be focused on research. We want them to be focused on manufacturing, maybe tourism, other things like that. They all have different needs, different types of customers who really don't play well together. You know, you don't want to be doing advanced microgravity research next to somebody who wants to play their music really loud as they move forward, or doing manufacturing that's dirty. The other things that we do that maybe aren't as well known is we're into orbital servicing and space sustainability, spacecraft communication systems, propulsion systems, both solid and electric systems, Earth and space visualization, ISR, and other advanced solutions. So just really quickly, you know, one of the things we're looking at is how do we recycle upper stages to be used as outposts for Earth observation or other types of research that folks might want to do as we move forward. Airlocks, of course, we do the Bishop airlock now. It's the first commercial real estate that became a perfect permanent addition to the ISS in 2020. We used the Bishop airlock to move it. It's actually very large. It's a little bit, I can stand up inside it, and we put payloads in it and expose them to the vacuum of space as we move forward. We do launch and mission management systems. NanoRacks, one of our companies, has been doing research on the ISS for over a decade. I've launched over 1,500 payloads. We're the largest launcher of payload systems to space with that. Moving on. We're doing orbit servicing and sustainability, refueling systems, those types of things, capture management systems, dog tags, where you can use electropermanent magnets and connect to facilities, connect in space so you can capture them and then either refuel them or remove debris. Communication systems, laser and RF communications. We have been doing RF communications for quite a number of years, as well as laser communications, digital systems, electro-optics, and custom communication systems. As I said, solid electric propulsion systems, and then Earth visualization systems. We have ISR capabilities that we use. And then finally, you know, other solutions that are out there. For example, we're involved with oxygen development on using lunar regolith and other minerals, and how do we go use those, as well as launch pad infrastructures, ground systems, and things like that. So with that, I'll leave it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. And now from Aliena, Singapore, Dr. Mark is going to present. So, the green button is to go.
Sure. Thanks. Okay. Oh, so what do we do then?
Distinguished delegates, I'm Mark Lim, co-founder and CEO of Aliena. Aliena is a Singapore-based company that aims to provide last-mile mobility solutions for satellites. Aliena is a proud spin-off of Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. We were incorporated in 2018 to seize opportunities presented from the new space renaissance. This includes the improved performance and widespread deployment of small satellites, the observation of satellites operating at lower altitudes, and the shift towards deployment of satellites in small to large constellations. Our core product today is the multi-stage ignition compact Hall thruster, or in short, Music Engine. Music offers cost-effective performance, making it the industry standard for satellite platforms interested in compliance with deorbiting regulations, enabling operations of satellites in constellations, and improvement of satellite performance through operations at very low Earth orbit, VLEO.
Will AI replace Microsoft Excel users? In 2023, AI is being used everywhere, in every profession, industry, and software, including Microsoft Excel. And instead of being scared of AI, you can actually use it to your advantage, especially if you use Microsoft Excel for your work. Because now you can use AI to master 174 Excel formulas without having to remember any of it. You can now create all your Excel reports in less than 60 seconds using AI. And you can automate your work by creating your own macros in Excel without coding knowledge. So, if you want to integrate ChatGPT and AI within Microsoft Excel, I invite you to join me in my certified 3-hour ChatGPT in Advanced Excel workshop. Hi, my name is Jatan Shah. I'm a Microsoft certified official trainer.
Just like the melting pot of cultures and innovation in Singapore, Eliana features an international team who have had extended experience working on 7 different international whole trusters. We also actively engage in capability development within Singapore by training and mentoring space systems engineers of tomorrow through our internship programs. We have contributed globally through the demonstration of our systems at various laboratories. This includes laboratories at ESA, Stanford, Imperial College London, and Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. We have also provided our systems and components to meet some of the frontier R&D needs of numerous research centers pursuing electric propulsion. Now, let me just spend a little bit of time speaking about our missions. We first made waves with the development and deployment of an ultra-low power whole thruster. This was launched in January 2022 on SpaceX Transporter-3 mission. The system launch is officially the world's lowest power whole thruster at just 10 watts and offers capability for ignition on demand. The satellite which hosted our system is also the world's smallest satellite to host a Hall effect thruster at just 3U. Our next mission is actually in a couple of weeks' time, and it's an incredible honor for us to be in India now, since the launch will be on the PSLV. In this mission, a 12U satellite will demonstrate our music engine as a multimodal engine alongside other systems built internationally. As an international collaboration managed by Eliana Singapore, this cooperation involved the UK for the provision of the satellite bus, as well as Finland for the resistor-jets paired with our whole thrusters. We are incredibly proud to be providing our engines to a local consortium made up of academic and industry entities that will be flying a small satellite demonstrator at very low Earth orbits, VLEO. This endeavor aims to characterize the environment at VLEO and demonstrate capabilities for data acquisition in VLEO while compensating for drag using our low-power engines. Finally, we'd like to share that we have made history with a UK consortium earlier this year by demonstrating the world's first whole thruster to operate on water as a fuel. Eliana provided a critical enabling subsystem for the thruster tested, and it was demonstrated to operate nominally in Imperial College London and at the European Space Agency's propulsion laboratory just a few months ago. Now, in conclusion, we'd like to take this opportunity at G20 SELM to highlight that we are extremely keen on forging new partnerships internationally. We also like to explore new mechanisms or collaborative opportunities for us to provide our systems and components to sharpen the edge of your missions. I'm confident that we can go far together, and I'm looking forward to making meaningful partnerships on the sidelines of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, we now go on to Indra, Spain. May I invite Ms. Maria Cristina to kindly make her presentation. And the green button is to go ahead, red to go behind. There's also a video in her slides, so we'll play that video, and whenever you say, they'll play the video.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to stay here, showing a little what Indra company can do for everybody in the world, especially regarding to the space. Indra is a company that more than 56,000 employees around the world, with a presence in more than 46 countries, and with projects in more than 140. Really, we are starting. Here is the video. Please, could you add? Yeah? No. This one.
బియ్యం పెసరపప్పు
ఈరోజు దేనిపైనైనా
Okay, good. Thank you very much. This is our radar for surveillance of the space. Really, the situation regarding the space and the debris that we are suffering every day more and more, we need to have a clear idea about what is going on. Really, the situation every day is more congestive, and we need to know exactly what happened. The space domain awareness is one of the critical areas, and for that, Indra has developed our surveillance radar that with the capability of the coverage of more than 2,000 kilometers, okay, and with very high accuracy in the detections. With this, we can perform a complete catalog about the things that has surrounding us, okay? And we can try to predict what will be the behavior in some extent. In this situation, we have an L1 radar, monostatic, with transmitter and receiver antennas oriented to the south area in a plane forming of 30 degrees. This radar is under operation from our Spanish Air Force from the end of the 2018, that right now is under the operation of the Spanish Air Force, as I mentioned. This is a radar that is contributing to the AST network and is giving all the information to avoid any collision, to predict the reentries, and also to analyze what happened in the space. Really, we have a long company with a long history in radars application, and this is key for us. Also, we are in the space, in domain, in the navigation area, in the control, observation, and space tracking, and in Earth observation applications. In all of these, we are using the Earth observation, for instance, in the downstream, we are monitoring the change in the climate conditions. We are also checking and planning the emergencies and rescues happen, and just giving us as much information in the image and the processing that we can. With this, we can plan perfectly what is the situation of the disasters. In the navigation area, we are contributing in the GNSS infrastructure and the performance and the monitoring and detection. Also, we are planning to have, and we are working right now in Startical. Startical is a joint venture between Enaire and Indra, with a 50% of each one, that we are preparing a very big constellation with more than 250 satellites, just mainly focused in the VHF and ADS-B payload for ATM control, okay? These are the payloads destined to avoid any misinformation during the transoceanic flights, and it's going to give also the possibility to save in the oils and the transit areas to minimize the time also for the flights. Yes, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much, Madam. And with that, I would now invite from Satlantis, Spain, Mr. Guillermo Rosello. So the green button is to take you ahead. And
Namaste. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my pleasure on behalf of Satlantis being present here. My name is Guillermo Rosselló, Director of International Business for the company, and we'll have a 3 minutes journey, now less, around Satlantis and images around the Earth. We come from the astrophysics. That's our DNA. We come from watching stars, you know, astrophysics, this coffee at 3 a.m., watching from special phenomena, trying to understand what is happening up there, to watch the Earth, to look down. And that's the technology that Satlantis has developed using technology for deep space employed for Earth observation. So we have developed an optical payload, high-resolution optical payload that is able to work in different spectral bands and able to work with these dimensions with small satellites thanks to the hardware and to the software designed by Satlantis. Now we're providing full Earth observation solutions built around the core of the mission, the brain of the mission, that is the optical payload. in order to be able to transmit to the customer as a prime contractor the Earth observation strategy based on our knowledge of the optical. We are a 100 employees company right now, a combination of private and public shareholders. As private shareholders, we have several oil and gas investors, as oil and gas sector needs to understand better and better the methane emissions, and space is one of the best assets to have a wide scanning, wide screening of methane emissions with detection and quantification. We're able to do this, configuring our sensor in a sweet channel and detecting methane with a 1.65 microns. This is our portfolio of payloads. We have two payloads in the market right now, one under development. The smaller one's 4 kilogram GSD, around 2 meters. The 170, which is 80 centimeters, you saw a previous image in the previous slide. And ICM-300, which with a target of below 50 centimeters. When working with full turnkey solutions, full satellites for customers, we're working with the platform you can see on the screen, and 16 CubeSat, microsats, and minisats in the future with ICM-300. This is our technology roadmap. We're strong right now in the upstream and extending to MWIR and LWIR and polarimetry. These are our missions. We are in our 4th mission right now. We launched our 2nd satellite some weeks ago with Transporter 8, and we have ahead 3 missions for next year on 16 CubeSats and on 2 microsats with different instruments on board for oil and gas and defense and security. Here you can see an image of Suez Channel in Egypt. Thank you very much. Shukriya, I just want to share a thought on behalf of Satlantis. Some centuries ago, ocean and sea were granting hope for mankind. And probably today, we're all here and glued by a new hope, which is space. Thank you very much. Shukriya.
This is the #1 gift this holiday season. The all-new BlendJet 2 portable blender packs so much power and innovation, it's 5 times more powerful than the original and can blast through almost anything. It holds 33% more with a 16-ounce capacity and has measurement markings right on the jar. With 16 beautiful colors to choose from, BlendJet 2 is the perfect gift for everyone. BlendJet 2 is amazing for making smoothie bar quality smoothies. It crushes right through frozen fruit and ice. Say goodbye to chalky chunks of protein. Toss in a banana to make.
Thank you very much to you, sir. And now from PLD Space Spain, may I invite Mr. Raul.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Raul Verdu, co-founder of PLD Space. It's a pleasure to see here in the G20 event, so it's very proud to share with us our capabilities. So PLD Space is a small launcher company. We are developing a simple and robust eco-friendly rocket. So we are selecting the very mature technologies in terms of engines, structures, avionics, ground equipment, operations, and everything to do a very simple rocket to be operated and to develop an orbital class vehicle super, let me say, reliable, because we are understanding that we are not trying to improve the state of the art of the rocket. We are just trying to do in a very simple way, in a very cost-effective way. And I want to add also that it's eco-friendly. We are using green propellants called biokerosene. We are developing with the national energy company Repsol the synthetic kerosene to be, let me say, net zero company today. So PLD Space is a full vertically integrated company. So we manufacture everything in-house. We purchase very raw material and enter from one door of our workshop, and in the other door we are delivering entire rockets. So even the testing capacity, we have 100,000 square meters of ground testing capability to test structures, engines, systems, almost everything, COPVs or whatever technology that a launcher has on board. We are the unique company in Europe that we developed that system level testing. So we have, let me say, a small and a private test range. Today, the company has a size of 150 full-time employees, growing up to 300 because we are increasing our capability from manufacturing 2 or 3 rockets per year to manufacture 30 rockets per year.
So our last milestone was our first launch attempt. Unfortunately, our demonstrator vehicle called Miura-1 commands out to abort because a sensor in the umbilical release mechanism. So we are very proud to achieve that state of the art from the private point of view. So PLD Space was a company that was founded in 2011, 12 years of heritage. You know, I don't know if we are from the new or from the old space today, because a lot of years working today with a strong support with our national government and the National Space Agency. So I think with our project and our colleagues at Spain, we are guaranteeing at national level the capacity, and the European level the capacity to launch something in the space. So stay connected, because our maiden flight will be in September, October this year. So thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, before I invite the gentleman from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, I'd like to invite Larsen and Toubro and Lakshmi Machine Works to be closer to the podium. I invite Mr. Balaji Natarajan to now please present on behalf of HAL.
Good afternoon. HAL is a strategic partner, has been associated with ISRO for Indian space programs for almost last 5 decades. HAL has promoted ISRO for all its development projects, including Chandrayaan-1, Mars Orbiter Mission, Chandrayaan-2, Crew Atmospheric Re-entry Experiment Test, Pad Abort Test of Cruise Escape Systems, etc. HAL has been supplying critical structures, tank cages, satellite structures for PSLV, GSLV, and LVN-3 launch vehicles. We have delivered the biggest tank and also the heaviest tank for cryogenic upgradation development program of ISRO. We are making critical hardware for the Gaganyaan project for both the unmanned and subsequently manned missions planned by ISRO. HAL is already supplying L40 integrated stages for the GSLV vehicle. We have also established dedicated facility for taking up stage integration of PS2 and GS2 stages of PSLV and GSLV respectively. Further, HAL along with L&T will be realizing the PSLV launch vehicle for NSIL in the coming years. This challenging project, once accomplished, will go a long way in establishing the role of industry in taking up bigger, complex, end-to-end realization projects for the Indian space programs. HAL has also established the cryogenic rocket manufacturing facility in Bangalore. We have commenced the pre-production activities and are hopeful of rolling out the development modules of the engine in a couple of months' time. The facilities with aerospace division has been augmented continuously over time to manufacture structures and propellant tanks of different types and sizes, different materials and varied complexities. The manufacturing excellence of the division is visible in production of space-worthy large components and assemblies with stringent dimensional and quality requirements. HAL has been the mainstay partner from the era of experimentation to the present era of commercialization. We hope that this journey will continue and HAL will remain to serve the Indian space industry in every way possible. Thank you. Jai Hind.
दोस्तों आज हम महंगे महंगे लैपटॉप ले लेते हैं, भले वो 40,000 का हो या 80,000 रुपए का। महंगा मोबाइल फोन खरीदने बोलो चुटकी बजाते ही खरीद लेंगे, भले वो 60,000 रुपए का फोन क्यों ना हो। लेकिन अगर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल सीख कर खुद की करियर ग्रोथ करनी हो तो वो पैसा आज तक हमसे जमा नहीं हुआ। खुद पर सेल्फ इन्वेस्टमेंट हम करते ही नहीं है और यही हमारी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कि सैलरी में ग्रोथ रुका हुआ है, बॉस हमसे खुश नहीं है, रोज धक्के खाकर हम जा रहे हैं ट्रेन में, बस में, ऑफिस में, लेकिन ग्रोथ का नामो निशान नहीं है। दोस्तों जब कोई आपसे पूछता है कि क्या भाई सैलरी बढ़ी, क्या आपकी ग्रोथ हुई, तो हमारा मुस्कुराता हुआ चेहरा बोलता है यार नहीं हुई। हमसे पीछे आया हुआ बंदा हमसे ज्यादा ग्रोथ लेकर जा रहा है। क्यों? क्योंकि भाई उसने ये पैसे मोबाइल फोन में नहीं लगाए, उसने ये पैसे महंगे लैपटॉप लेने में नहीं लगाए, उसने ये पैसे सेल्फ इन्वेस्टमेंट किए, यानी ब्रेन पर इन्वेस्टमेंट किया, एक अच्छा खासा एक्सेल का कोर्स बाय किया और अपने आप को ग्रो किया, बड़े बड़े डेटा से वैल्यूएबल इंसाइट निकालना सीखा, उसने पिवट चार्ट, पिवट ग्राफ और डैशबोर्ड बनाना सीखा, जिससे उसे सैलरी में ग्रोथ मिला। तो आप अगर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल में खुद को बेसिक से लेके एडवांस नॉलेज अगर ब्रेन पर इन्वेस्ट करते हो, बिलीव मी, आने वाले कुछ ही महीनों के अंदर आपकी सैलरी ग्रोथ कोई भी नहीं रोक सकता। यस, कोई भी नहीं, ना आपका मैनेजर, टीम लीडर, सब आपको शाबाशी देंगे और सब आपको एक नेक्स्ट लेवल सैलरी पर लेकर जाएंगे। प्रमोशन तो भाई आनी ही।
Thank you very much, sir. And now may I invite Larsen and Tubro. Mr. Lakshmesh is going to now present. So this is your green is ahead.
Good afternoon, sirs. And thanks for the honor to be here in the G20 summit. With over 80 years of strong customer focus and world-class quality, L&T has unmatched capabilities across technology, engineering, construction, high-tech manufacturing, and of course maintains leadership positions across all its businesses. In the domain of high-tech manufacturing, L&T has critical role in critical and strategic sectors like power, nuclear power, defense, and of course, aerospace. L&T has been partner to ISRO over 5 decades and across practically every domain of the upstream, midstream, and downstreams. When it comes to the upstream, Larsen & Toubro has been scaling up from being a tier 1 to super tier 1 to a complete system integration in launch vehicle domain. Of course, with colleagues HAL, we are going to do the PSLV system integration. In terms of satellite also, we are scaling up from subsystems to system to complete bus structure and power management system. In terms of midstream, we have been able to establish a lot of ground systems and radar communication, navigation, and GSATs on turnkey basis. And of course, in downstream, L&T, along with its group companies, have been establishing smart cities and other smart solutions by using space tech and data. Going forward, we look at creating an end-to-end capability across the space domain, in all the streams of upstream, midstream, and downstream. We do make serious commitments to the G20's theme, One Earth, One Family, One Future. We are looking at space as a serious economic opportunity. We have made investments in high-tech manufacturing capabilities and skill sets in design and testing. We take the responsibility of upholding the values of the country as well as the global ESG standards, and of course, take the responsibility to grow the space sector in India and around. And certainly, we do believe that it's through alliances that great things can be achieved. And L&T partners with domestic, global, governmental, private, startups, and to build and grow the space economy in a collective manner. Thank you very much.
If you are boosting posts in the name of running ads and wanting to make sales, it's money down the drain. And here's...
Thank you very much, sir. And now from Lakshmi Machine Works Limited, may I invite Mr. Channa.
Very good afternoon. Thank you very much, ISRO and G20 members, inviting us for our presentation. Lakshmi Machine Works, based out of Coimbatore. We are into composites, metallics. We have the machine shop on composites, machines, sheet metal, special process and assemblies. This is just an overview of LMW. We are a $500 million company, and aerospace division is a part of it. We are already delivering the green parts from our facility. We have installed 50 solar and wind mill with 48 megabytes, so we're already supplying the green energy parts. Glimpse of composite facility, you see all the facilities are being available at our shop, right from cold storage to C-Scan, the newest machine we have, hot air oven, and also the clean rooms. The largest clean room we have to accommodate the large launch vehicle parts, and largest autoclave we have, which is around 6-meter length and 4-meter dia. So accommodate major of the curing processes, including the hot air oven. You can see the NDT facility. We have all, as I mentioned, C-Scan with the largest 7-meter, and all the facilities on Sonatest, A-Scan, and Bond Tester as well. We're proud to say that we have created the Center of Excellence for Payload Fairing in India. We are manufacturing various payload fairing today. If you can see, our largest is around 10-meter height. The second is 3-meter height. So we will be the largest payload fairing manufacturer for various companies. Proud to say to contribution for ISRO as well, as I mentioned, including payload fairing, we are supporting the equipment-based shroud and also on the antenna structures, adapters. Some of the other programs we do with composites on the engine side, we have on the acoustic door panels, helicopter parts, radars, and also on the cowling parts for helicopter. We are also into the aerostructures. You can see the large parts of structures, including some of the space program and also on the wing parts. We do manufacture and also process at our facility and also assemble it. So we have a one-stop solution at our Coimbatore facility. As I mentioned, on the capability of engine parts, we do various parts, as I displayed over here, right from large 1.5 meters dia rings to various casings and the turbine parts as well. We have the special process facility to accommodate all the parts over here. We do processing and also on the requirement of painting, NDT passivation. We are also in the assemblies of some of the structural parts of aircrafts and also on the, it's in military aircrafts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's now about 4 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock now. We'll take a very short 10-minute energizing break. We've got tea, coffee lined up for you on either sides of this room. I request you to please get a cup of tea, coffee, but come back at 4:10 because 10 minutes is all we have. We have a lot of more presentations. We are at the 23rd one right now. We have 49 total presentations. So I'm going to request you to please come back in a few minutes before 10 minutes finish. So I invite you to please do join us for tea, coffee on the other sides of this room in the wings, and please come back in 10 minutes. You could bring along your tea, coffee cups. Thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen. After this, of course, for those of you, our participants, we have Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Central Manufacturing Technology Institute, Midhani, Centum Electronics, OneWeb India, and Anant Technologies. Those are the next 6 presenters. And thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, I will be announcing the others to come join us closer to the podium. So thank you once again. Please take this energizing 10-minute break only and come back a little before, a couple seconds before 4:10. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
ये दुनिया भर में घूमते भटकते लाइफ एंजॉय करते हुए बिजनेस बिल्ड नहीं होता. Let me prove you wrong. Miten Panchal runs a distribution business of safety products and he goes on week-long safaris. Gautam Shah runs an IT service business and takes 7 days off every month. Anil Parmar, manufacturer LED lights, has started going on vacation with his family every damn year. And you know what's the best part? all of them have grown their business revenues more than 50%. I know you must be wondering this can't be real. Well, don't trust my words. Try it out yourself, because I am going to share the step-by-step framework that has helped more than 100,000 business owners in growing and scaling their business profitably using the Entrepreneur to Wealth Challenge formula. Hi, my name is Dr. Amit Parekh. I'm a serial entrepreneur, globally leading business coach, and over the last decade, I've empowered more than 100,000 businesses to achieve growth and scale profitably. And now I'm inviting you to join me in an exclusive 3-hour masterclass where I'll unveil Entrepreneur to Wealth framework. You will discover the exact strategy that has allowed Hiten
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please invite all of you to kindly take your seats. We have to now begin with the rest of the presentations. I request you all to please come and take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I invite you to please be seated. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the announcement to conclude the tea-coffee break. As I said earlier, this was going to be a very short, energizing tea-coffee break. I invite you to please take seats. Thank you very much. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to now begin. May I request you to kindly take seats now. And I have to invite our next presenter. So may I request you all to please be seated. Please take seats, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, I'll go through the order. As you know that we have finished 23 presentations so far. We have 25 and 25 more to go. We also have 2 extra presentations, ladies and gentlemen. I request you to please join us back in the room and take seats. We will be starting this segment with Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, followed by Central Manufacturing Technology Institute, CMTI, Midhani, Centum Electronics Private Limited, OneWeb India Private Limited, Anant Technologies Private Limited. After that, we have Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited, and then Bellatrix Aerospace Private Limited. I request the esteemed presenters, the delegates from Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, CMTI, Midhani, Centum Electronics, and OneWeb India Private Limited to please stay close to the podium. We're going to be inviting you now, and I invite all of you to please take seats. And now may I invite Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited to kindly join us at the podium for their presentation. Dr. Satpathy, ladies and gentlemen, from Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited is going to be making his presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving us opportunity to speak here. And I represent BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. It's a power plant manufacturer company. We are specialized in thermal, nuclear, hydro, and solar power plants, among others. And our interaction with ISRO for almost now 2.5 decades. And we have mainly focused on 2 major products because we are in the power sectors, so we also provide power to the satellites. Now, as you know, when the satellite goes into the space, its main and only source of energy is the sun. Now, the sun's energy is captured by the solar panels. And these solar panels consist of solar cells, which are basically multi-junction solar cells, which are basically triple junction solar cells or multi-junction solar cells with gallium arsenide kind of materials. And these are all made into the forms of panels. And you can see the panel which is there on the left-hand side. And we can able to make maximum up to 6.93 square meters of the panels. And it has all been used in the ISRO satellites which are been launched as of now. We also make batteries. These are the once the power from the sun is captured by the solar panels, it goes into the battery to store it there. And then this battery energy will be used when the eclipse times comes. And BHEL ISRO has been working together since 2002 on making the batteries. We started the nickel cadmium and nickel hydrogen batteries. And from 2010 onwards, we have been making lithium-ion batteries. As of now, we have made 107 batteries and supplied to ISRO, and including 82 batteries of lithium-ion. And the battery which is being used for many of their satellite applications, including the Chandrayaan-3, which is going to be launched week from now. Besides the the panels and batteries, we have also gone to backward integration. We have gone to their sister unit Vikram Sarabhai Space Center and acquired the technology of lithium-ion cell manufacturing. And this technology, it is an indigenous technology developed by VSSC, and we have taken the technology and established the process and established the product and qualified the product for space applications. So we are the first company beyond ISRO is to produce the space grade batteries or the space grade cells in India. And so we will be very happy. And besides the ISRO customer, we are started catering to the non-ISRO customers. One of our major customer right now is Dhruv Aerospace. We have been supplying the space grade panels to them. And I invite other people, other startup companies all over the world, if anybody interested to take our assistance from BHEL through InSpace, we can able to help you in this endeavors also. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to speak in front of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Satpathy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, from Central Manufacturing Technology Institute, CMTI, may I invite Mr. Mohan Raj.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a big thank you for the opportunity to brief about Central Manufacturing Technology Institute, or CMTI for short. CMTI is a R&D institute located in Bangalore, and we operate under the administrative control of Ministry of Heavy Industry. Our domain expertise is in the manufacturing technology, and what we do is help the Indian industries. We collaborate with the Indian industries to resolve technology gaps in their area of operation, and then also come up with technology solutions for them, which they can commercialize. A brief canvas of our operation is depicted here. Mainly about our area of operation is mainly about advanced manufacturing technology, which includes, apart from complex manufacturing, micro and nano manufacturing, digital manufacturing, additive manufacturing, smart manufacturing, and so on. We also have a host of laboratories, state-of-the-art laboratories at CMTI, which provide services to industries in the area of sensors and vision. It could be in the area of hydraulics, etc. One of the main areas of our services to the industry is about special product development. And in this regard, I would like to brief you about the product that we've been supplying to ISRO for the past 20 years, and this is the vertical planetary mixer for propellant processing. And we have the technology for sizes from 250 liters, 250 kg to about 10 tons. Currently, we are building the 10-ton capacity vertical planetary mixer for ISRO, and shortly it should be in service. Apart from this, we also make continuous mixers, which we supply for the same purpose, for the manufacture of propellant. And these we have in the pilot capacities of 30 kg per hour. And apart from this, for the space program, we also supply diamond turning machines and hard turning machines, which we use to make space mirrors. So these are a sample of some of the products that we have supplied to the space program so far. So aside from the products, we also have excellent labs, state-of-the-art labs, which I was mentioning earlier. That is about the sensors and vision technology. We also have labs for the smart manufacturing and then the nano manufacturing. I invite all the space industries here, present here, to come visit CMTI so that you are aware of the facilities available in Bangalore and probably could be used for your own manufacturing purposes. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. And from Midhani, may I invite Mr. P. Babu.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm from Midhani. Midhani is a public sector enterprises under Ministry of Defense. This is a 50 years old company. And last 40 years, we are manufacturing and supplying special metals and alloys. Mainly, we are the only manufacturer in India titanium alloys and major manufacturer nickel alloys. And we manufacture special metals and alloys and supplying to mainly space, defense, nuclear and commercial sector. These are the major strategic program Midani supplies. So presently we have two places. The main place is at Hyderabad, Telangana state. And one more plant we have at Rohtak near Delhi, Haryana, where we manufacture armor product. We manufacture, these are the major category of alloys, super alloys, titanium alloys and special steel. And we have a different type of melting facilities like primary melting, secondary melting. That includes vacuum induction melting, vacuum arc remelting, electro slag remelting. These are the specialized melting process used to manufacture special metals and alloys which can be used in a critical and strategic application. This is the dedicated titanium manufacturing facility we have from titanium sponge. Then the ingot is made from there. Then we go for forging, hot rolling, cold rolling, wire drawing, white plate and casting manufacturing, all the facility we are having. These are the two hydraulic forge press we have, 1500 ton and 6500 ton. And hot rolling facility we are having to make bars, rounds and flats. And cold rolling also we can make up to 0.5 millimeter thickness. And we have a dedicated investment casting facility where we made all the castings required by space. And last 4 decades we are supporting space in supplying special steel like maraging steel and investment casting, plates, rings. And we also make fasteners and bio implants. Armoring plant, dedicated one, and whatever personal armoring, vehicle armoring we make. And apart from space, means we are supporting to the Army, Air Force, nuclear power plants and other strategic sector. We have a dedicated facility for chemical, mechanical, all the testing facility in-house. The testing facility included immersion ultrasonic testing, phased array ultrasonic testing, and for X-ray investment casting testing, all we can do. We have got all this accreditation, and we have a 300 kg skull melting furnace which can manufacture titanium casting weighing up to 200 kg, and we got spring mill and fasteners, of course. Now presently we made one white plate mill which can manufacture 3 meter width and 15 meter length. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. From Centum Electronics Private Limited, we have Mr. Vinod. So green button to go ahead.
Green.
Presentation which is short. One second.
Good evening. Thank you, G20 SELM organizers, for giving me an opportunity to present about Centum Space Journey, and also thank you for enabling some of the delegates to make a visit to Centum industry and understand a typical case study of an Indian industry groomed by ISRO. Quickly, Centum has been a 30-year-old company. Our space journey has been about 23 years out of those 30. We are an Indian multinational company that way, with established footprints in different parts of Europe, doing high reliability, high technology. And the space journey basically started catering to various customers, primarily ISRO in India, but these are list of our customers. And to this, we are all now latest is we are partnering with Indra of Spain on the space radar opportunity. These are our key customers. And we have been working with Indian Space Research Organization since 2000, and the journey is something like this. And if you see it from the left bottom, from a typical component to right up to payload modules and subsystems, that has been the progression. An excellent case of how ISRO has taught us handheld and then typical Indian industry to move from components to modules to subsystems to systems with multiple domains starting from analog, power, digital, and today everything is multidisciplinary. And also the technology platforms have increased right from microelectronics to box assemblies to RF subsystems, various technologies which are otherwise used in latest upstream space technology is something what you will be able to see. And all of this has been done in turnkey mode where we design, we deliver, we buy the components. We're also working right now on the new space area where there is a paradigm shift happening in various domains, right from selection of components to the designs to the speed versus the cost effectiveness. And that is something which we are parallelly working in parallel with the traditional space domain. The subsystems, this is how the payloads have been. Payloads comprising of electronic warfare, mini synthetic aperture radar, right up to Ku band, onboard computers, and the hyperspectral electronics for the hyperspectral payload camera. This is how the progression has been. The natural step is to move towards the small satellites. That's the need of the hour as far as Indian ecosystem is concerned. And Centum is no exception, and we are getting ready to develop and manufacture the satellites, hopefully with ISRO, with various other customers, various other end users. That has been the trend. So net, 22 years of credible space history, build to spec, build to print, both modes of engagement. We have about 80% of it is export, so there is a good amount of national, international domain expertise, strong design, engineering, and manufacturing infrastructure meeting global and Indian space standards. That is Centum for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And now, before I invite the next presenter, the next order will be Anant Technologies Private Limited. I request you to please stay closer to the podium. Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited, Bellatrix Aerospace Private Limited, Hughes Communications India, and Inox India Limited. And with that, let me now invite from OneWeb India Private Limited, Ms. Nishtha Kapoor.
Introducing OneWeb, the global low Earth orbit satellite communications specialist, uniquely equipped to support government operations anywhere in the world, even in the most austere and remote operating environments. Part owned by His Majesty's government and supported by international enterprise, OneWeb combines extensive satellite access and expansive terrestrial capacity to deliver secure, resilient, and multi-domain communications. OneWeb's global connectivity platform features 648 low Earth orbit satellites, which provide coverage across 99.7% of the planet. Our modern network architecture offers state-of-the-art cyber resilience and redundancy to ensure high availability of services wherever they are required. Customers benefit from high data throughput, up to 195 megabits per second, and latency levels as low as 70 milliseconds, ensuring near real-time command and control, reduced response times, and improved decision-making at the tactical edge. Customers connect to OneWeb's LEO constellation using a family of user terminals, which ensure fixed, on-the-pause, and on-the-move communications even at high speeds. User terminals can be installed on buildings and on board ground, maritime, and airborne platforms, including UAVs, enabling secure and rapid data transfer and automation through machine learning and AI applications. Potential customers include first responders, armed forces, and other government agencies. End users will soon benefit from the ability to integrate digital age technologies, including cloud computing and the Internet of Things. Choose OneWeb for rapidly deployable, real-time connectivity where and when it matters most.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is OneWeb for you and for the world. It's an honor to present an organization which is in the journey of transforming the humanity. Who are we? We are a constellation of 648 satellites, 40 gateways, which we build and own. We have variety of terminals from the best of the industry, and we offer high-speed, low latency, less than 100 milliseconds. With this, we offer an enterprise-grade, end-to-end managed, and truly global satellite connectivity services. Is this something an engineering brain fancy? No, we are live in Alaska, Europe, and Canada. And we have a paid customer who are very happily using our services. So while we are, still connecting our customers and we have started gearing up for Gen 2, so please look at this, any square which you fit in and you think that you can collaborate with us, please contact. So, well, in the start I said, and I just end with this, that we are in the journey of transforming the humanity. And why I say that? Because for every person connected, there is one not connected. For every school connected, there are hundreds which are not connected. For every disaster happened, there were chances that for a quick and a better response. For every security breach happened at the border, there was a soldier life could have been saved. And for every farmer or a fisherman who failed to predict the weather, they could have achieved